Good evening, everyone.
We made it, Paul. Happy
did this.
Thursday.
Happy Thursday to you and episode 20. Look at that.
We're like almost drinking age.
Cool. Because that's been the thing holding us back.
That
now.
is that at episode 3. No.
That was the thing that got our drinking privileges taken away.
Yeah, we had to lock them up after that episode. That 5-hour meandering marathon went a little too far. Man, we got a live chat. I think people are excited for tonight's show. This is
it's going to be interesting. Yeah.
I hope we keep it on the rails. I mean, this could go anyway.
I give it about 4 or 5 minutes of being on the rails.
4 or 5 minutes.
And then the rest is just completely off. So
yeah, no one's requested Qbert yet, so we're off to a good start.
Give it
a
time.
Civilized evening.
All right, I'll say hello quickly to who do I have here first? Jay Pace.
What's up, Jay?
He's always here. Love it. Architect Kelly.
Should be fun.
Yes.
Gotta love that guitar solo. Always been real, always gonna be real. Israel Gaming in the house. What's up, brother?
Whoops. Yeah, got him there. Look who else. Oh, we got Brooklyn here. Hey, good to see you. Awesome.
Brooklyn being a menace.
Yeah, we had an awesome show with Brooklyn and the rest of the crew. It was awesome, fun.
That was a good evening. Good times.
Yeah.
Provolone Joe, always here with us. What's up, my man?
We do have in the house our two moderators, David and Josh. Thank you guys, as always. Keeping lockdown on things. Best we can, at least.
I find Josh to be more distracting than anything, but
that's his job.
Luckily, the fans can't see what happens behind the scenes.
I feel like Arcade One Up Official, you changed your logo. Look at that.
It's very new. It's very fresh. It's very hip.
Yeah, it's also blue instead of black, so congratulations.
Dope.
EPM audio is locked in. Yes.
Glad. Good to have you. Yes. Pants free since 03. Nice. Oh, my goodness. Yes, get your bag of popcorn. Cue the Michael Jackson memes. Here we go.
Good evening, Sean.
How do you say that last name, Paul?
Shut up. Lochran? I don't know.
Oh, man, you look like a jerk. You don't even know how to pronounce your fans'
I don't.
names. Gosh.
I've got like the hardest to pronounce last name in the world, so I can empathize at least. Well.
Look who it is.
Yes. So at least he's super excited. Even though I can't pronounce his name correctly, he's still excited. That's why we love people that are joining the show. Hey, B. Kirby's here.
Yes, he is. What's up, fellas?
And who else we got? Wafflehead. Oh, that's a Spy Hunter reference. And
Spy Hunter.
Tom Ball is here. I don't think they catch everybody. Let's see. Jason. Say a quick hello. Yeah, and I think we're pretty well caught up. So, yeah. Well, tonight I think we're going to be kind of freewheeling things a little bit with our special guest and
free balling. We're going to be free balling tonight with.
I wasn't going to say it, but okay.
Perfect.
All right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, on our show, we like to feature up and coming rising stars in the YouTube home arcade universe. Nobody's too big or too small. We're here for everybody. So
up and coming channels that have, I don't know, a good
300 times the subs as us.
Well, see, and with that, he took himself off. There you go. All right, now you're back. But hey, well, let's not waste any more time. Here he is in the flesh. It's he. It's Michael B.
Michael B.
Sure. Have you muted? Look at that.
Muted
Oh,
Michael B.
we're real professionals. Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, that's okay. This show is so much more professional. You actually have like your moderators like on the show in the background. Like this is a real production here.
Don't watch what they do though. If you actually pay attention to Josh Denby in the background, it gets out of control pretty quickly. He's almost definitely not wearing pants right now.
I'm trying not to pay attention to it, but I think that guy should grow some like sideburns. I think that'd look really good on him.
just
Fully.
complete the look.
Yeah.
Complete the look. Well, Michael B, thanks for jumping on with us, man. This is kind of a little bit of an unexpected surprise. I don't think anyone had Michael B on the Arcade Insiders bingo card for this week.
Why not?
Yeah, I have no idea. I heard I don't know. I've heard there's expectations for tonight. I think
which by itself is new because the expectations are almost never existent for us. So yeah,
the bar is so low. People don't expect us to do anything. But tonight, I mean, they're expecting fireworks. I think we have a burning planned. So we're going to light the stakes. And
that's after the
That's what
tar
I
and
heard.
feathering.
After
The
the
tar and feathering
feathering?
comes first. Then they
Yeah.
add the steak part.
Well,
to get it
Fantastic.
right.
Thank you for telling me about the tar and feathering. I didn't wear anything too nice, so I didn't want to ruin anything, but I appreciate it.
It's perfect.
Yeah, no
but
problem at all.
yeah.
But I guess before we jump in too much, in the astronomically small chance that there's someone on this show right now who isn't familiar with your channel, hasn't seen it, Mike, why don't you just do a quick introduction? Tell us about your channel, how long you've been doing it, what'd you get started doing? Give us the deets.
Yeah, I can do that. I appreciate, having a YouTuber like me on the way out on your show, so I could be part of my goodbye tour. But I've been doing YouTube since 2011, 2012. I started up because I was a huge fan of the NES. I was starting to collect again. I watched a lot of people online that are doing the NES stuff, and I wanted to be a part of that community. So I started making videos, and I got really lucky, made a lot of friends, and even though I have I can't remember. I think it's like 32,000 subscribers or something like that. Like I got all those years ago, mainly around I did a video called Top 10 NES Hidden Gems that did really well. And I ended up getting like 15,000 subscribers from that in like 2 weeks. So don't let the numbers fool you. I'm not that big a deal. I'm probably, out of all my friends, I've probably grown the least since this whole home arcade thing started. So roughly around 7 years ago, I bought the first arcade one-up that came out, or one of them. I bought Street Fighter, and I thought it was just okay. I thought Street Fighter was just okay. But then I got really excited because then Turtles came out, and they came out with that Wave 3, and then finally Wave 2 was available in Canada. And I bought a ton of them, and it turned into an addiction. And then I started talking about it on YouTube and connected with a lot of people in that community. And that's been fun ever since. I was lucky enough to be asked by P-Dubs and Nostalgia to do a show with them. So we started doing Super Game Room Dudes. I bought a mic, like a professional, semi-professional mic. Decided to start doing a show called Chill and Chat Monday Nights that for some reason we're 270 episodes deep. Wow. People haven't got sick of me yet. We've been doing Super Game Room Dudes even longer, believe it or not. And about 4.5 years ago, I found out I was having my second kid. I knew I wasn't going to have time to do like in-depth review videos all the time like I had been doing. So I started mainly doing like kind of a news thing, kind of like what RGT85 does, except about home arcade, because I like talking about the stuff. I like making those videos, and that fit into my time schedule at the time. So yeah, you can go check me out if you want. If not, if you already know me, you probably don't like me, and that's fine. But for the people that are interested, come see me.
I wouldn't say you're an unlikable guy, Mike.
We'll
get into the details on why I'm wrong about that. But you're in an interesting place right now because you might not be aware of this. So I'm going to enlighten you a little bit. But there's kind of like different camps in the home arcade community. Now, you might not be aware of that this is going on behind the scenes, but there's kind of like these two different sort of camps that for some reason are very passionate in opposite directions about the inner workings of everybody else's channel. And we, because Paul and I just are gluttons for punishment, have just sort of dropped our show right in the middle of it. So I encourage you to watch the chat. It usually devolves into a bar fight, which is wonderful to watch. But no, I think it's great that you're on the show. Obviously, we'll have some questions. I think some things we might want to know about. And then love to hear the different perspectives. I think is how we like to frame ourselves. That there's a lot of sides to this coin. There's a lot of ways that people look at it. Oh boy, oh boy. So jumping in, Paul, you got anything you want to say before we roast this man alive?
Oh, put it on me.
Come on, guys.
No. Well, the funny thing is, Mike and I were sort of trading messages earlier about the expectations of different people about who's going to say what, who's going to go where, watch out for this, don't do that, all this sort of like, and at the end of the day, it's kind of like, as far as I'm concerned, we've been pretty open to talking to just about anybody. I mean, we obviously don't want to be talking to people that are going to be doing stuff that's, personal attacks, but as far as like the topic goes, I kind of feel like we've talked to people from, I'll say, other sides, different opinions. We haven't had as many people from, we'll say, this other camp, tribe, whatever you want to call it, that you're kind of probably more attuned to talking to, Mike. So it kind of made sense to try to talk to somebody from that side of the fence. So you, as far as I could tell, aside from like maybe, Cool Toy and, Retro Ralph, RGT85, you're probably if not the biggest, close to the biggest, I'll say, in subscriber count and sort of awareness, personality in the home arcade space. So why wouldn't we talk to you?
Well, I appreciate that. I think that, again, like I tried to deflate it a bit and say, like, I had a bunch of subscribers, like 20,000 subscribers before I started doing this. So I'm not really the biggest in the space, but I appreciate that. I've been very fortunate and been afforded a lot of opportunities to do some really cool stuff with home arcade since I've been covering this for the last like 6-7 years.
Yeah.
Well, and it's hard to even know because obviously some channels have bought subscribers, some people came from other things prior and whatever. But when you look at, you also kind of sold yourself short a little bit. You're doing not just live shows, but pre-made videos. I think at least twice a week, if not more, almost daily, practically.
Sometimes daily. Yeah.
Sometimes you're really on the grind for those.
Right.
Sure.
And you look at your total
when
views
there's
and
stuff to
everything
talk
else.
about.
Well, yeah, that's.
If there's something I'm interested in, I'll talk about it. But
and hopefully we'll actually get into some actual stuff to talk about later. But I think to kind of not beat around the bush too much, where obviously there's the whatever elephant in the room sort of thing.
Oh, we can talk about that, absolutely.
And people want us to go there, and if we don't, I have a feeling that's we're not going to be able to focus on anything else. That the chat lets us talk about.
First off, I will say poor Kevin gets caught in the crossfire when he did nothing. Like this had nothing to do with him.
So let's start. Children gather around the fireplace as we go back to the first day. The first day, Mike. We came into this world with a bang, I would say. And there may have been some scuttlebutt that there appeared.
Oh yeah.
Appeared that the gatekeepers of yore built a firewall with which to destroy us in our infancy, like King Herod and baby Jesus. And so, kind of let's go back to that night. Obviously we're all talking now, so no one died, obviously, but
well, I don't know. We lost a lot of good men out there, Kevin.
Hey, our soldiers do what our soldiers need to do. All right, they know the drill.
Listen,
goodness. So-
obviously this was a big night for you. It was your first show and stuff like that. And what seemed that we were doing was probably the worst thing that it could have ever happened. It was outrageous and it was upsetting. But for me, it was Tuesday. It was just another day. I will tell you that it actually goes back long before your show. And again, Kevin, like I will say, poor Kevin, he did nothing. And you don't think about that.
I just
stuff,
clicked
right?
the button and said Tuesday at 7, Paul.
Yeah, like Kevin did nothing. Like me and Paul have talked about this a ton, like behind the scenes. Like people think like we don't talk or anything like that, but like there was a lot of people that Paul kind of rubbed the wrong way with a little bit of sharp practice starting his YouTube career. And I don't think Paul intended to. I think Paul was just trying to do what he could for himself. But, when Paul was starting out, right before he was launching his channel, he sent out a kind of like resume to people. And he might have put some names on there and stuff before talking to people. And I think it was one to Unico that I think also leaked out and got back to some YouTubers. And they were really upset at Paul. They were like, oh my God, why wouldn't Paul have mentioned that before he did it? So there was a couple people mad at Paul for that. The other thing was Paul did do some weird stuff. Like he'd write P-dubs and he'd be like, hey man, I got an interesting tidbit that you might want to share on Super Game Room Dudes. And P-Dubs was like, okay, what is it? And he was like, I can't tell you unless you let me on. P-Dubs was like, go F yourself.
Are you getting this, historian? Historians in the background carving these into the marble pillars of eternity.
So, I guess it's the kind of thing like, I'll mention another name, like Cornercade. When Cornercade started, he would constantly be in chats and be like, let me on your show, let me on your show.
Fuck
and it was just,
guy.
But do you know what I mean? Like,
Just like
sometimes,
always
sometimes it comes across like a little aggressive and it's going to rub people the wrong way. So, we all knew Paul was going to get into YouTube and stuff like that. And it wasn't so much about, let's, shut Paul down. We're going to do this big thing. It's just like, we're going to mess with him because he's doing funny stuff, right? So anyways, that was part of it. The other part of it is, Kevin, you may remember a couple of years ago, you were actually on my show, on Chill and Chat. You came on the night that John D. and David McIntosh came on to talk about the iconic arcade. And while you were on there, one of the things John talked about was how interesting it would be to do a show with you from a, buyer's perspective and different things like that. So, a lot of people thought behind the scenes, this is John's show. This is John pulling the strings and setting this up. This is just John, because John has had shows before. John worked very closely with, One Up Weekly that had Retro Ralph and Console Kits on it, and then he worked with Weekly Retro Party, did that One Up show. John has a way of doing things, so some people were a little upset by that. I found out afterwards, some people who were upset because they felt slighted that, if John was going to do a show, they thought they deserved to have the opportunity to do the show with him. So that's why some other people did it. And then there's the third piece of this, and there's more too, because I can keep going into it. But we also had a buddy, Chaotic BPR, does a show Thursdays, same time as you guys. And, it kind of sucked that, like, if someone wanted to come in and work with everybody, they wouldn't, like, kind of go around and ask and stuff like that. And I guess we all wanted to support Chaotic, and that's kind of part of it too. But at the main part, and like I said on my show, it was meant to be a fuck around. But, and I don't know if you can swear here or not. I'm just going to be me, so I can't not do it.
Yes.
The thing that you don't realize is you do this shit and you don't realize the implications it has. Like, to us, like, I was serious. Like, it wasn't that big a deal. And it was kind of like, we're going to razz this person because they're doing this stuff. We're going to do this. But I got a message from John D afterwards, and he was, like, really upset. And I was like, why are you upset? If this isn't your show, why are you upset? But he made it very clear that, like, you guys are working with companies, you talk to companies about the show, different things like that, and it makes the whole community look bad because of what we did. And I didn't consider that, when I chose to do what I did. And I was like, I feel terrible now because this impacts someone like you, Kevin. Like I said 100 times, you did nothing. You were living your life. That really sucked. The other thing too is people always like they just like to take things and try to make it the worst possible scenario ever. So everybody was like, this is an example of these people gatekeeping. They're gatekeeping this show. They're trying to keep everybody else down to prop themselves up or whatever it was. And I mean, if you want to think that way, okay. Like I talked to Paul a bit, and I know Paul was hot at first, and Paul felt that way. But like we've talked a bunch of times since, maybe he still feels that way. I don't know, but like no one had any intention long term to do anything. It was just like we're messing around. But at the end of the day, it obviously was a good thing for you guys, if anything, because
I was going to say
polarized your show. Yeah, it polarized your show and gave you a whole different fan base.
You guys, if the original goal was to give us a hard time, I don't think you could have put rocket fuel any more strategically underneath us for the launch. So I guess if we judge intent or we judge outcomes, I'll judge outcomes and say, hey, thanks for the.
I'm still waiting for my fruit basket.
Yeah, P-Dubs has it.
And Kevin, too. The thing is, like, that actual night, that event, whatever, that didn't bother me a whole lot because obviously it did get us on a whole bunch of coverage. The thing that bothered me, honestly, was I felt a little bit misunderstood in some of the things that had happened prior. And honestly, a lot of them I haven't talked about really in public because I just didn't feel like we needed to go there and whatever. But just because we're taking the time to talk about some of it, the infamous resume thing. So I made some mistakes there, but I want to tell people exactly what happened. So I did reach out to Unico with a single email and said, hey, this is who I am. I'm interested potentially in talking to you guys more, getting some official information out there. If you're interested in working with me, let me know. I got an email back saying basically like, hey, thanks for reaching out. Not really familiar with who you are. Would you be able to provide some more information? And I said, oh, well, of course you're not, because I'm not a YouTuber. That makes sense. So I have, a Reddit history, but I'm not really out there in some of the social channels with other people you're familiar with. That said, you probably are familiar with people that know me. Here's a few of them. Now, what I didn't say was these people endorse me. I didn't say these people even like me. In fact, I included a couple people on there that I know don't like me. So
bold strategy, Paul.
I fully understood, but at the same time, I knew those people knew me. I knew that you knew me. I knew that P-Dubs and K-Fox, all these other people knew who I was. Even if you didn't like me or whatever, you at least knew. Okay, yes, he's been in the community for a while. I don't do stuff with him, but I know who he is. He's got this thing on Reddit and he's trying to do some YouTube stuff or whatever. So it was not at all meant to say these are people who can vouch for me and endorse me and whatever. It was meant to say, ask them if they know me. They will tell you who I am. And that was the extent of it. But rightfully so, people said, hey, you never told me you were putting my name on this. And they're right. I should have. It wasn't meant as this person can vouch for me. It was meant to say, ask them if they know me. And that was the extent of it. But I was in the wrong. I reached out to each person on that list individually afterwards and said, hey, I'm sorry I didn't tell you about this. I should have. I didn't handle this the right way. I wanted them to reach out to you just to say, hey, who's this guy? Not as a means to say I vouch for this guy, but just to inquire about me. And I didn't handle it the right way.
Paul, you got a bank loan and put me down as a reference.
Yeah, right. Yeah, to get my truck. That's how I had to do it.
Yeah.
So I didn't handle it the right way, and I tried to reach out to everybody, and it didn't go. It still didn't sit well with one or two people. There's a couple in particular I tried to reach out to 4 or 5 times, and I finally said, you know what, I understand why they're upset, and that is what it is, and I made a mistake. And then when it came time for Super Game Room dudes, and I had some pieces of information and whatever, the thing leading up to that, and I don't want to throw any one person or whatever under the bus, but there have been a couple instances where I was told, hey, stick it on Reddit and we'll pull it on the show. Basically saying like, this isn't your medium, this is our medium, this is our show, which I get. You're on Reddit.
That wasn't me, Paul.
wasn't you, but I was basically told put it on Reddit, we'll pick it up from there. And that I
Okay.
had done that a couple times prior, and a couple times prior, no credit was given. It was like I had to
Yeah.
work for that information, but nobody took the time to say, here's where we got it. So that kind of, that felt a little personal then at that point, because it was basically like, hey, stay in your lane, just put the information up there, and we'll take what we want. So that's why at the time I wasn't willing to just say, well, here's all the information, because I got burned. And I was sort of like, I'm tired of getting burned, so I'm just going to present it because I was the one that it was told to.
Yeah.
And I haven't necessarily always been properly represented, in the past. So I understand why I came across to that person as being weird, but that was my side of it. I was trying to say basically, stop ripping off my stuff.
Yeah, and see that's the thing that always gets lost in this stuff, especially like obviously for a lot of people this is really competitive, right? Like
Yeah.
I'll go back to Cornercade. Like he reached out to B Kirby one time because he knew B Kirby had like this contact with Basic Fun. And he sent him a message and told him, hey, don't tell anybody else. Make sure you tell me first about all the Basic Fun news. And I was like, what a sleaze bag. Why would you do stuff like that? So some people can be very competitive, right?
Oh, it is competitive, for sure.
In a way,
Yeah.
I think some people felt that it was sharp practice. Like you were playing really, hard to pressure and get your way in. But when you explain it the other way, it makes total sense, right?
Well, and I didn't
think-
necessarily even want to do YouTube at first. That was the funny thing. I had actually started talking with some other folks like Danny, and I was kind of on the side saying, hey, this is something you might want to cover. And then pretty, to his credit, he took the opportunity and ran with it. And eventually once or twice, he said, hey, you want to come on the show? And I was like, okay, sure. I went on his show, then I went on Bill's, then I did yours once, whatever. So that was before I was even kind of really saying like, well, maybe I should just do this on my own because maybe people aren't perceiving what I'm doing with other people in the right way. And it feels weird.
Yeah.
At least I thought it felt weird. So then I was like, well, maybe I should just do my own thing. I did that for like 2 weeks before Kevin was like, hey, you know what? Why don't we just take the information we have and just go out there ourselves? And I was like, done. Let's do that. Because it's better than just me. Yeah.
Well, I think there's, and I'm going to chime in here, and Mike, you're 100% wrong about some things that you said. So I'm going to make sure that you know exactly where you're incorrect. But first, there's one thing I do want to clear up, and I've said this across the board. These shows, for some people it's a hobby. For some people it's like a little bit of a side hustle. At the very least, whether you're live streaming once a week or you're doing multiple videos throughout the week, you're putting in some time and effort, and you wanna get the views. I mean, that's the metric, right? So I don't disparage anybody who wants to try to get that inside scoop. I mean, like literally everybody has at some point, well, not everybody, I shouldn't say that. A lot of YouTubers have at one point or another, before we had this show, texted me, hey, Kevin, did you hear something here? Did you hear something there? What's the deal with this? That kind of thing. And that's the hustle. That's the hustle. I respect the hustle. So, if Danny was like trying to get a scoop on somebody, I'm like, dude, more power to him. Like, that's how it goes. I'm going to tell you where you're wrong though, Mike.
All right, I'm ready.
And I'm gonna give details because we're all coming clean here tonight.
All right.
You were very generous. You said I had nothing to do with any of this, and that very kind of you, and completely wrong. So I'll boil it down. I'll boil it down to a specific event that tipped me over the edge. But I'll give some context first off. Before I approached Paul about starting the show, everybody knows what I do. I buy and sell home arcades. I work with multiple brands, Wonderland Amusement. It was Tastemakers at the time. Now it's, Basic Fun purchased them, but I was Basic Fun, Tastemakers, Iconic Arcade, obviously, all under one roof, working with all of these different brands. I sacrifice a lot of my time to make these brands successful. And I also talk to these guys, whether it's John D, whether it's Peter, whether it's, all the guys over at Basic Fun. I talk to these guys all day, every day, and every single one of them is completely just busting their ass, sacrificing time, sacrificing, money, whatever it is. Everybody is very heavily invested in these products working. And
one second.
Go.
Peter has a third company too.
I haven't heard of them.
Wild, man. Yeah, I was talking to him the other night. So he's got Wonderland Amusements. He's got New Wave Toys now that he's taken over from Shiloh. He's also running another company called Hero Rama, doing these diorama toy cases. How does he ever have time to sleep? Like, it's crazy.
And there's people in the background too. It is a very cross-pollinated industry. I'll leave it at that. But anyway, so there's a lot of adults trying to make a living, trying to launch businesses, trying to do all these things, and I would tune into the YouTube shows, and I would watch the reviews. Hey, let's get some feedback, get this, get that, and sometimes they're good reviews. And then there were a few times where I'm like, man, like I think it's starting to feel like people are just bashing a product, because if they bash the product, then they could get the view, and then they could just sort of morph a little bit later and get additional views by saying it's a good product. But the original bashing is hurting my business, and it's actually kind of pissing me off. Now, if it's a legitimate issue, by all means, let's make the product better. But there were a few instances where it felt a little disingenuous. I can't put my thumb on all of them, but there was one. There was one specific instance where no, it wasn't you.
Okay.
I will be honest about the situation. I have a feeling he's already heard it through the grapevine. But there was one specific review that finally pushed me over the edge. And I'm like, fucking A. Like, I'm going to go start my own fucking podcast, and we'll talk about these arcades, because this is just pissing me off. A well-respected YouTuber named P-Dubs was doing a review of, I believe it was one of the countercades, I believe. Was doing a review.
Was it the Centipede? Like Basic Fun Centipede?
It's Basic Fun, and there was one thing he said, and for whatever reason, it just hit me right in the feels, and he's like, all right, they're using these shitty cam locks, and he tossed them to the side. And I said, and this is why it pissed me off, because I said, why the fuck are they shitty cam locks? They're cam locks. They are inherently they are what cam locks are. Like, can you please describe to me a high-end cam lock? Is there a gold-plated cam lock? Is there like a titanium cam lock of some sort? And that was one. And I'm only saying his name, not out of disrespect, but just out of full transparency and honesty, in case someone comes up and says like, oh, well, I think it was this or I was that. I'm telling you exactly the moment. And no disrespect to P-Dubs. He does great work. So I don't have any problem with it whatsoever. But that was the specific moment, because I said, look, if we're doing all this work to bring this product out, and the first thing that someone's going to say is we're just saying like, oh, it's this shitty thing here. It's this shitty thing. This product represents hours and hours and hours of work that someone put into it. Like, I'm not saying stroke us every time something comes up for sale, but let's at least, like, all right, industry standard cam locks, like that's fine. Like, this is what I like about the cam. This is structurally what works. This is what works at the game, like this and that. But that was probably the one moment where I said, you know what? Like, it almost feels like it's mean-spirited at this point. Like, the reviews are no longer like, really, what do you want us to do about cam locks? Like, that just seemed like such a low one that's what pissed me off. And that's when I reached out to Paul. And because here was the idea. I wanted to come out and I wanted to talk to people. John does not run the show. This was
no.
This was, I just want to make sure that came out. John did not launch this show. John is not like behind the scenes. He provides us information just like everybody else provides us information. And we talk about upcoming releases, right? Like that's the relationship. But I actually reached out to Paul because when I was looking at the show, I said, if I just go out as a buyer, I've seen how the team, I don't want to say team, the community responds to perceived shills. It will be a shill channel. It will have absolutely no value. No one will give a crap because it is just me selling product, which is what I do and what I want to do. And you should definitely buy my products. Paul, you know, he's got he was doing the work on Reddit. He had sort of the audience, and he was never getting product for free. There was no way to accuse Paul of having a financial link that could be, you know, that could undermine his credibility. So I thought, perfect. Here's the yin and yang. I'm the corporate buyer jerk who wants to lie to you about MSRPs and scam you into all the buying things. And Paul is the pure community, you know.
Did we lose Kevin, or is it just
I
me?
had to kill him. It was too much.
It was a lot, wasn't it, Paul?
It was.
Jeez.
Oh man. Well,
No, he's making a really good point. And like, yeah, if you think about it, and I talked about this too, when you were on my show, like I didn't take a look at it, but like, he makes a really good point there because, like, you know, we look at it from a different perspective with Kevin, and now he's back, he can finish, but like,
he's
you know,
half back. Nope. He's had a bad Wi-Fi night.
so no, it might be my fault where I'm here in Canada, right? But anyways, you know, he is coming from a seller's perspective. Like, that's a metric that he's judged on at his job, how well those sales go, right?
Well, that's exactly it. And, you know, and he and I had been talking before this, but not so much about necessarily doing a show. It was really just about a shared interest. We were talking about games. We were talking about what's going on. Obviously, you know, I was allowed to share certain things, and I'd do it sometimes via Reddit, sometimes by saying like, hey guys, you know about this? This is happening. Hey, why don't you come on the show, share this, whatever. And it kind of snowballed and kind of became what it was.
I hope he makes it back on, though, because I have a fantastic behind-the-scenes story about another YouTuber complaining about the cam locks, and he's going to love that.
Yeah. I don't know if I actually even watched that episode, but I remember talking. In fact, Bill probably remembers this. B. Kirby, he and I had talked about the cam lock thing, like just like after a show one night, because it's like, well, is it really that bad? And like, you know, we kind of got into the nitty gritty of it, and it's sort of like, well, there's different grades, and it depends how you implement it, and so even that could have had a whole discussion, and you know,
yeah, like I can't read P-Dub's mind, but what I would mean by shitty cam locks, I don't think it's to do with the quality of cam locks. Some people just don't like cam locks.
Oh yeah.
So Kevin's back. I can tell him now really quickly. One of the funny things was, RGT85 bought that WrestleFest cab, and of course he gave it like a horrible review. He was so mad about it. He was writing me when he was building it, and I've got piece by piece pictures of him building it and losing his mind about the cam locks because he had never used cam locks before, so he couldn't get the cab together. And he was freaking out. And of course, anybody who's built a home arcade, like P-Dubs has like many and has had many Legends products, and guess how they're built? Cam locks. I mean, I don't know why you would complain about them. There's nothing wrong. It was one of the first things I noticed about the Basic Fun Star Wars cab. This goes together really well. That build is really solid. The cam locks work great. There's lots of benefits because like the outside doesn't have the screw hole covers, and the build is so much quicker. Like, and even taking it apart, I had to take it apart when I did the buy stuff screen mod. So much easier. I mean, I don't see a problem with the cam locks, but I guess some people don't like them.
It depends how you implement it too. Like IKEA's done that for years. Now, obviously, there's cheaper IKEA, but there's also more expensive IKEA that's done the same way. And it's not like everybody's IKEA furniture is suddenly collapsing. It really just depends how it's engineered. So that's I mean, it's kind of a side point, but you know, Kevin, you're back, so you can
you jump back in. Sorry, brother.
Continue that story, but that was, I guess, the tipping point.
Sorry. P-Dubs just showed up at my house and told me I had to shut the fuck up. No, completely kidding. Actually, it was funny you brought up the RGT video. I was actually thinking about giving all the new cabinets a rating system by how many Band-Aids it takes to put the cab together.
Like, you should see the stream of messages he sent me. The cab in pieces. He's like, I'm just giving up this stupid cab.
Oh yeah, it was. He was really he was really upset about it. But I mean, Camlocks, it's a quarter turn, brother. Like no
It's
power
not-
tool required for this
But
process.
what people screw up is they don't have the opening. So like they'll turn the screw and then think that it's set, and then leave it, and then it falls apart, right? And like I guess it
Yeah.
requires a little extra thought that some people don't want to do.
Yeah, I think there's pros and
well, I
cons
think
like
it's-
anything. Yeah, it's, these are not perfect replicas. They're, they're fancy toys and they're not built the same way. There's pros and cons to every fastener, to every monitor decision, to every PCB decision. There's trade-offs. That's why they're
Yeah.
$600 and not 6,000. It's kind of is what it is.
So I'll give you a little bit more frame of reference here on the whole John D show, and it didn't have so much to do with the fact that John mentioned on my show that Kevin, that you would be great to do a show with. It wasn't really about that. There was an incident probably about a month before where we were doing Survey War. Paul, do you remember Survey War?
I don't know if I describe how it went. Maybe I knew it, but not
Survey
by
War.
name. I don't know if I
put a
do.
video. I did like a chill and chat, and in it there was a survey on what generation of arcade games people wanted.
Oh, yes, that whole thing. Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, I didn't know what we were calling it, but yes, I remember that.
So this is the thing. So John, I love John. Obviously one of the things that really bothered me about this, it really impacted my relationship with John and stuff like that. But he does weird shit. And like he'll message someone, and Paul knows what I'm talking about. He'll message someone, and he'll be like, I don't like this. Maybe we should, do a different survey. And like one of the things I respect about Kevin is he'll do a survey on the chat, and he'll be like, "What game do you want?" And everybody says Qbert, and he's like, "Well, I don't think it'll sell, so I'm not doing it." At least you're honest. But when you want to do a survey and then people are saying we want Qbert, and then you're like, well, I don't think Qbert sell. So then like you try to manipulate the results and like do different surveys and stuff like that. There's a long-standing thing with the whole free MK4 movement, and then it was a Qbert survey to get people to do Qbert, and there was a lot of bickering and backfighting. This is when John was doing stuff with like Weekly Retro Party and stuff like that. So anyways, we did surveys about, we're trying to push, like, because we want classic 80s games. We think it's nuts that Qbert isn't made. We think it's nuts that, games like A Proper Defender hasn't been released. Certain things like that. So, we did a survey, and then obviously the results came back very highly for 80s games. And then it felt like Paul disagreed with that. So Paul started making surveys, and he was like, well, I don't think the survey was done right. So let's focus on these different generations. And a lot of people, me included, was like, that's John and Paul fucking around with this because they don't want to make the 80s games. And there was a little part of it too. So, obviously we felt John and Paul had developed this really close relationship. So again, I'll go back, Kevin. It didn't have anything to do with you still. It was still
the funny
the
thing
relationship
is,
between Paul and John that we were like, what are they doing?
well, that's what's really funny is because John and I didn't agree on the survey. He was not, and I came out. I had my own very strong opinions about how to break it down, which was different, obviously, than yours. I put that out there. John didn't agree with me completely, but he had his own system that was fairly close. So to your point, they did seem to they looked close enough that you could easily say, oh, Paul and John are working together. But behind the scenes, I actually disagreed with him. I was like, this is not, this
no
isn't
one
where I
knows,
put,
right?
But no one knows that. And I wasn't going to go out
You just
there
make assumptions, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to go out there and say like, oh no, John and I never talk, because of course we talk. But it wasn't a coordinated effort because I did mine first. He came out and did his, and then I was kind of like, yeah, but actually I think it should even be more this way. And in my mind, it was all people having a dialogue in the community. How do you break this down? What's more popular? What does it really look like? But people saw that mine and his were close and instantly said, oh, well, they talk, so they must have coordinated on that. And I get it. I understand why people would have drawn that conclusion. It looked like that. But I can absolutely 100% tell you in that case, there was not a coordinated, this is what, that kind of thing. But I get it. I see why it looks like that. And that's,
So, yeah.
That was when Paul was Paul was getting ready to launch his official Arcade 1UP Insider, username that you see in the chats at that point. So he's obviously not working with John.
Oh, right, that one.
he's Arcade 1UP
I'm that
official
one
as
too.
well. So,
I'm just doing it all behind the scenes. I'm doing all of
now
it.
that's a rumor that's out there. I don't agree with that one. That one just it makes no sense. Like for me, and I don't understand why people are so hard on forcing this. For me personally, I'm excited to see whoever it is from Basic Fun or from their marketing department get involved in these chats again, whether it be not just my show, any show. But I think it's such a good thing for them to be communicating with the community, engaging and stuff like that. It shows a ton of positive movement. And yes, John, like we know it's not coordinated now, but we didn't know at the time. And
then there's this.
Yeah. So now that Paul and John have officially coordinated the communication, that they don't coordinate their communication.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It seems a little suspicious.
Yeah. No.
Actually, all my
but
text messages
I
are
think
from Moat right now.
Paul,
so there's John's not even there.
was, there was other stuff too. Like James Hates Everything would put up a post and then have an argument with John, and then it was like every time that happened, like 5 minutes later, new Reddit post comes up disproving James's theory, and I was like,
"Oh,
what's
really?
going on?" Yeah,
I don't even remember
it was probably
that. That's
timing,
funny.
right? Well, it's not one time; it was multiple times. It's just
Oh,
the
wow.
timing was hilarious.
That's interesting. I'd be curious. I mean, you have to ask him sometime. Not.
Oh, no.
I'm just curious because I honestly don't remember that.
I've talked to John tons since then. I know that that's not what's going on, but it just from the outside, the optics, right?
That's why. I mean, I would do posts all the time about stuff that I just had opinions on. Sometimes it would be in alignment with somebody. Sometimes it absolutely wouldn't. And there were times that I was vehemently against what John was doing. And we've talked about that in the past. I've even apologized to John because some of them were borderline like personal and stuff.
Oh,
and,
Paul, I know I've known you for a very long time as guest at Super Game Room Dude. Sometimes we have a kindred spirit understanding of our distaste for nostalgia, but other than that, sometimes you could get really upset.
Passionate, very, very much so. Yeah. So that's interesting, though, the sort of collusion that wasn't as well colluded as it appeared to have been.
Yeah, but you don't know what you don't know, right?
Well, yeah, and I get it too because all those things were kind of happening around the same time.
Yeah,
I get it. And I heard often from several people like, wow, he had this whole thing mapped out. He had this whole plan coordinated and whatever. And I'm like, I could show you the text from Kevin when he's like, hey, let's do this. And and then within 2 weeks we had just done something. Like that was the extent of the coordination and the plan.
Yeah.
It was literally, we should do this show. Okay, when do you want to do it? How about Thursday at 8? Because that's when I'm free. Okay, good, let's go.
I think to your guys' benefit, obviously, it turned into this, I don't know what it was, like what you would say. It became this like rebellious thing, like we're going to support this show and stuff like that. And that was awesome for you. And I'm so happy for you and stuff like that. But like everybody else was just like, okay, whatever. Like we're just gonna go back to normal after that.
Sure.
Like no one's gonna do anything, right? But like it's been good because you guys got a really good following. And one of the things I like about it, a lot of the people that wouldn't normally tune into like organized home arcade stuff are tuning into your show. So it's getting a lot of different people, and you're engaging with different fans and different opinions, and that's fine. Different opinions are awesome. The only thing I have a problem with different opinions is when people try to force their opinions on other people that you should think like me. Like that's not cool. But other than that, like no one has ever had a problem with someone saying, I don't like this product. Cool, I do. Yeah. And then if we can respect each other, that's the most important thing. But there's some people that go over the line on that, and I just choose personally not to associate with those people.
No, I get it. And go ahead, Kevin.
I was gonna say, we get it. You guys love each other now. Everyone's best friends. But one thing we don't do on this show, Michael B. Game Genie, is we don't speculate.
I speculate all the time because I don't know.
Which is part of why we wanted to bring you on. So Paul, you've got some double dragon back here. Now normally Paul and I can't do speculation. But since you're here, that opens the door to speculation because obviously if you're a guest in our house, we want to make you feel comfortable. So we've seen some information here floating around on Double Dragon, obviously one of the sexiest cabs ever made, and that's an opinion. That's an opinion. You can take that opinion to the bank, do whatever you want.
I love it.
But
I'm so happy with this.
But it says that there's going to be 14 titles. It's been There's no like leaked like side art that we can kind of glean what these 14 titles are. So looks like most Technos arcade games. So if you're making Double Dragon, Mike, because you are the Godfather gatekeeper of the home arcade community. What games are you thinking? What do you want to see on?
Well,
here?
and I want to give them
sometimes those deep cuts are the gems.
Let's give them a second to think too, because I don't want to miss the fact that we've been told this is going to be a true second wave product. There's going to be improvements versus what we're already seeing on the Street Fighter cabinets, and it's going to supposedly look every bit as good, if not better, than this prototype. Which if you haven't checked out Bobby Vu's video, go do that. I think we can throw a link there in the chat, but it's really cool. He's got some really cool shots all around the cabinet. I will say the Double Dragon Revive is not. That was a prototype. That one is not happening. We did get that confirmed, but these shots of the prototype V2 of Double Dragon look sweet. Check it out. But there's going to be Wave 2 improvements. We're told there's going to be most Technos games on this cabinet, and that's kind of what we're getting to now. Because what do you think that includes, Mike?
So I would like to share with you, because I'm an insider and I have dedicated knowledge from John D directly. So I asked him yesterday, because I did a video on this and a lot of people came back and they said, do you think Bobby Vu's demo Double Dragon, or prototype demo Double Dragon, is going to be what the final product is? So I asked John, and I was like, so is it going to be close to this? And he said, yes, but with edge banding. And I said, thanks, John. And then I didn't tell John, I don't know what edge banding is.
I take that to mean, doesn't that normally mean T-molding? That's what I would have taken it as.
I think so. So anyways, John did tell me, he said this is going to be an upgrade over the first cab. And I had heard rumors that maybe they had changed to the factory or the person who was going to be building these on the back end, wherever they're built. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about Double Dragon. I've been very honest about this. I have a huge nostalgic connection to this. Now, Kevin, what you probably don't know about me is I'm the weirdest home arcade buyer in the entire world. I don't give a shit what games are on it as long as it has Double Dragon and maybe Double Dragon 2. So, for me, that's fine. But people equate the number of games with value, so they want to see a bunch of games. I think it's pretty safe to say you're not going to see WrestleFest and Superstars on this. But if you include all their arcade titles minus those two, it should have all of them, because that's about all Technos did.
Well, yeah, that's the funny thing. Half of the ones I don't even know if I remember them, or I certainly couldn't pronounce some of them in their Japanese originals. But so I think it's going to have Double Dragon 2 and 3. I mean, Double Dragon 2, really, when you boil it down, it's Double Dragon, but like kind of improved. It's like basically the same levels, the same general kind of thing, but just a little bit better. But
the weird thing is, I think Double Dragon got worse as it went on.
Yeah, maybe
the
it
first
did.
game was the best. Double Dragon 2 is good, but there is some weirdness to it. And then Double Dragon 3 is just a pile of shit.
Well, that was a totally different developer. It wasn't even the same. I mean, So
but there's other really good games they could put on there, like Combat Tribes. We saw Super Dodgeball on the WrestleFest.
I think
come back. There's a lot of fun wrestling games that they could put on it that aren't WWE. And then the last one I think they released is Shadow Force, which we were talking about before the show got going. And Shadow Force is kind of a weird one. That one had multiple buttons. iArcade owners would remember Shadow Force. Like, it's a cool looking game. I just never got the play for it. It's not a fun, easy beat 'em up.
Yeah, and well, speaking of beat 'em ups, James mentioned Renegade. That might make an appearance. I don't really know, but yeah, you mentioned Combat Tribes, Championship V-ball, whatever it was called. I don't know. I don't remember the control scheme for that. I don't know if if that would fit, it might.
I don't remember. I don't remember playing that, but if it's anything like Super Spike V-Ball was on the NES, that's fun.
Yeah,
So that should
that's
be
what I
good.
have in my. I think that's what I have in my mind, honestly. So I don't know for sure how close it is to that, but there were some other ones that were maybe questionable in my mind. Acrobatic dogfight. I don't think
They
that
don't
was.
need that. They don't need that.
I mean, who knows? Solar Warrior, which was a scrolling shooter, and I can't pronounce the other. Exained Sleen. I don't. Kevin, you know how to pronounce it. You should. You should say that one.
I pronounced nothing correctly. I'm a nasty redneck. I don't know.
I don't know how to say that one. I think too, John hasn't confirmed this recently, but early on I asked John, will the Double Dragon from the Neo Geo make an appearance? At the time, he said it might. It sounded strongly like it would. So I didn't include that in my sort of mental list, but I wouldn't be surprised if that makes the cut as well.
Yeah, and I know people don't like console games, but there's a lot of cool Technos console games that would be a good fit for this. Like you've got Super Double Dragon, really, really good game, doesn't get enough credit. You got a couple of the NES games like River City Ransom, other things you can pop on there. So there is a lot of other cool stuff they can do. And it's just like mainly for me, this is a proper Double Dragon cab, and it's going to have Double Dragon on it. I'm happy. So
Yeah, and
I hope everybody else gets what they want to.
I think you're absolutely right. I wouldn't want to see a console game as the marquee title game, but I do think the Technos library of console games is arguably as strong as their arcade library. So I think that they have several that they could add that I wouldn't personally take offense to. Again, I wouldn't make it the marquee title, which they're not. But yeah, I think they could easily add some of those and feel good about it. I mean, there are going to be bonus games again. I don't know if the bonus games would be like where they would put potentially console titles, or if it's just a mix of things, or if there's any console titles at all. I honestly don't know. And if John's still here, maybe he wants to comment on that. But yeah, lots of potential ones there. Oh, I got accused of missing these in the past. I'm not going to do it this time. B. Kirby, thank you, sir. Glad you guys did this. You're all cool in my book. B. Kirby is one of the coolest guys just in general. He supports everybody, and yeah, just super awesome. Kevin, thanks for taking care of my address change. Yeah, I heard about that today, which was awesome. So hopefully we got
So
that
you're
going
to send it directly to Cornercade, right? Because all the stuff B. Kirby
That's
buys
correct.
goes directly to Cornercade.
at
Thank you.
some point or another.
Yeah,
it
we're
does.
just cutting out B.
Cutting out the
Kirby's
middleman.
middleman.
Yes. And oh, hey, look at this. Holy cow. Bobby Vu himself is here with a crazy super chat. Thank you, sir. Clean like a mother. I can't do it.
Oh, you got to try, Paul.
can't.
Like that's it. You're a YouTuber now. You got to make the voice and everything go.
I can't. We got to have him on here so he can do proper justice to that. But thanks everyone for the support. He says, hope you all like the Double Dragon Prototype V2. We
it's
absolutely do. It looks awesome. I did see an interesting comment. I think it was actually James that brought this up. Why show a V2 of Double Dragon Revive if you're not going to build it? Which I thought, okay, that's interesting. We don't know how old these prototypes are. So who knows? Maybe at the time it was still being considered, but that looked sharp also. I'm not a huge fan of console-based, whatever you want to call it, turned into arcade cabinets, but it looked nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, let me see. I'm still catching up here. So yeah, did we? I guess we pretty well covered, I think, what there is to cover on that.
Kevin, you're not maximizing your space back there. You've got one cabinet behind you. You're like, did you know that's prime real estate? Like, you've got other products you got to sell, and you're not. Look, yeah, there you go. Turn it. There you go, brother. And you got to have a current rotation of the stuff you have for sale. Come on, man.
Oh, that'd be sweet. Yeah.
That's what we do. That's gonna
Just
be the
right in the
goal.
crotch shot. I got a new stock
Proving
photo.
I'm wearing.
Yes.
Yes. No, there's I've got some more coming in here. I'm a shill, so I don't pay for all my games. You'll be shocked to know. I feature products that I want people to buy that I think look beautiful on camera. So there should be a few more of those coming in here directly, and I'll make it look respectable. I think I'm gonna angle it back to the corner and then have 2 rows of arcades going back in just to make everybody else jealous. But
I like it.
there you go.
Yeah.
It'll be
And
fun.
to your defense, from what I understand, that's pretty normal. Like when you're in a position that you're buying for like a major company, a lot of times they'll send out samples. Like I know Arlene at the Brick in Canada, she got a bunch of stuff over the years, like Cab sent out for her to kind of review and think about whether or not she should buy them.
100%. And I think that's why people sell arcades, is so they can get free arcades, because
that's why I talk about them.
Yeah, no, that's why I sell them, so that I can get them. This idea that it's like a dirty secret, like, oh, these guys just want arcades. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Like, that's like, that guy just works on cars because he wants to get cars. Yes, that's what hobbies are. You figured it out.
If I get a part-time job at Five Guys, don't be surprised, guys. And you know why? I want
it's because he wants Five Guys. No, I totally get that. But even as we're like,
Oh man, look at that.
too much man for one show. That's what it is.
This is the point in the show where we can answer this by saying no idea.
Well, I love the fact that I don't know. And it's one of the things that I'm guessing on, because Kevin, I do watch you guys. I don't participate in the chat a lot because some of the people that watch your show are just people I don't really want to associate with or talk to. And they can call it gatekeeping. I call it...
It's Josh Dendy. It's okay. It's all right.
No, it's not Josh Dendy. His sideburns don't offend me that much. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, some people, they might want to call it gatekeeping. I call it normal. This isn't play groups where you have to associate with everybody. If someone's an asshole, I literally don't have to talk to them. So anyways, that's aside from the point, but where was I going with that?
I'll bring this up again for you and for Kevin since he's back.
It's the $1 million thing. I can speculate now. Your show is a resource to me because Kevin says something like, we're bringing out a Supreme this year and it's one you all wanted, and I can speculate and say they're doing Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, and I can't.
No, you can't, because you know.
No, you can't. I can't speculate because that's called leaking, and we don't do that. Cool. You speculated, Mike. There's a guy in the chat right now who's about to tell you that the new title is Qbert. Like, it could.
Oh, if it's Qbert, I'd lose my shit.
Immediately it will be confirmed with a K.
What
Kevin, you told me you told everybody, you went to Basic Fun, you sat down with poor Cyrus, who us nasty YouTubers chased off, and you told us that he didn't want to do Qbert and thought he should do a mix and match title, and you said it wouldn't work maybe in a countercade. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, Qbert will work, and I'm going to keep saying it until I'm done on YouTube. If you're a home arcade company and you don't think you can sell Qbert, close up shop. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Qbert is one of the most recognized names from the home arcade world. It's in like every single home arcade or arcade movie that's ever been made. One of the biggest names, one of the biggest features. Do you just not like the game? Is it hard to pair it with other titles? Like, what's the deal?
My concern is we're in a higher cost environment right now.
Oh yeah.
If we were cranking out like $4.99 cabs that were going on sale for $3.99, I'd venture Qbert into the mix in that world. But right now you've got like all the components costs are skyrocketing on because AI is taking over the world. You've got tariffs in place. Like, you've got all these other things where it's. I want to be. I can only speak for myself. I can't speak for the companies on this one. I personally want to be a little bit picky. I don't know that Qbert lives at $600 for a cab. I don't know. There might be a few, and by live I mean you have to order a minimum of 3,000, and you need to sell through those 3,000 in a year.
Well, like I don't know if there's data to support this, but John D told me one time that because it was 2 games, a lot of research and development went into making it, but they were shocked. They got an order for 10,000 of those, like pretty much right out the gate. Like, does anything like that help you? And I've got another $1 million question. With the raising gas prices, how fucking bad is that going to be?
The gas prices, they're coming down. I don't know if you notice, everything's fine.
Yeah, totally
they figured out all the problems.
You almost had me believing it for a second. It's such a
Yeah, it's
Well, like I walked into the gas station the other day, and I don't follow this stuff, but the woman behind the counter said here in Canada, analysts are predicting that it's going to be $4 a liter by the time that the summer's over, and I was just like, holy shit! And whenever I hear gas prices go up, it reminds me of COVID when the shipping stuff got all messed up and people jumped from $2,000 containers to all of a sudden $10,000 containers because of the increased cost of travel. And I'm like, what in God's name is this going to do to home arcade, like, and our prices?
the fuel prices didn't drive the containers as much as the home shopping demand skyrocketed. So to get on a boat, I mean, the companies were basically just fleecing everybody, and just say like, "Oh, you want on the boat? It's $20,000 to get on the boat because someone will pay $20,000." It's like when I sell a Street Fighter for $900, and someone's like, "This asshole's selling Street Fighter for $900. How can you do that?" And I say, "I don't know, but I can, so I do." And then people get mad at me. I'm like, "But that's capitalism," and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't work in our favor.
We lost them, but I actually gave Retail credit on one of my shows I did recently. I think it was my home arcade tour, and I talked about like their dynamic pricing model. Like sometimes it sucks because they're selling Street Fighter in Canada for like $1,100, and I'm like, that's ridiculous. But then sometimes it's awesome because then they sell Street Fighter for $531 Canadian, and it works in my favor.
Well,
so I'm fine with that part.
Yeah, well, and that was the thing when it first happened. I was kind of like, yeah, I don't know how I'd feel about it personally, but it's pure supply and demand. Like you're down to however many units you had at the time. I forget what it was, but it wasn't a lot. And that's when we saw the pricing go up. And it's like, well, if you have fewer units, but you're still selling them, even after raising the price, that means demand is still there. Somebody's willing to pay that. Is it a good value? Probably not. But to that person, it might still be acceptable. And so you almost can't blame them.
Yeah, let's wait for Kevin to get back on before we talk more about that, because
there we go.
Like the only thing that's kind of weird about it that like is when it comes up and there's all of a sudden already a sale price attached to it. I think a lot of people get their butt hurt about that one. So like it'll come up like you have a new product like Wonderland, and then all of a sudden it says $800 off, and I'm like, where's the $800 fucking come from?
Oh, you're talking about for the MSRP, right? And so that's sort of a separate thing that versus what I'm talking about, where the Dynamo cab went up to, I think it was like $900.
Oh yeah, that stuff's totally fine. I mean,
well,
sell it for
people
what you
didn't
sell
like
it for, right?
Well, yeah, but people didn't like that either. They thought, hey, we're getting fleeced
we
or
already
whatever,
covered
but
this. We complain about it, and then you guys do like a sale on the show, and we get stuff for cheap. We got to figure it out.
That's the model.
Actually, the reason I sold through it was because the Iconics were going to go for sale, and there was really no point in having an HS5 17-inch at $900 when this guy's coming in at $700. Like the market was about to change, so we adjusted.
Well, that's why I think Mortal Kombat's been selling everywhere for $399 lately.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mortal Kombat does stuff. Yep.
I mean,
Mortal Kombat, you know. I'm asking Claude if it thinks Q*bert's a good idea.
so
I do think it's a good idea, but John says Sony's not licensing the rights. So I
Yeah.
mean, it's futile in that point. If Sony's not willing to do it, like everybody's screwed. So
I kind of feel
So
like, well,
the AI that is smarter than everybody, that is so dangerous,
Oh, dear.
the U.S. military doesn't even want to use it. The bottom line It would do best as a bar top countercade format at an accessible price.
Your AI is
Think
just
$1.99
sucking
to
up to you.
$2.99.
Your AI is just sucking up to you.
Yeah.
It's like this.
My
Facebook
brain is
targeted
so
ads.
dangerous.
It's like those Facebook targeted
are
ads. It's only telling you what
modeling.
you wanted to hear.
No. This is cloud. It's the best. This is the absolute best. So
No. I
no,
don't know.
gas prices will come down. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about that.
Everything's fine.
Totally
It's great.
Totally fine.
It's great.
Totally fine.
The fact that everything we do is about to be replaced by AI is totally fine. We can farm.
That's terrifying, right? Like there's, I saw some job ads or like school ads for like trades colleges and stuff like that, and they're leaning on that right now. They're saying so many of like what I do mostly, like accounting and data entry and stuff like that, totally AI replaceable. But
Totally.
you know, they're leaning into like trades jobs and stuff like that, and they're trying to sell that like you should go into a trade because AI can't replace that yet.
Yeah, because the robots are still too expensive.
That's right.
And as soon as the robots aren't expensive anymore, we're all just going to be foot models.
On that note, Console Fanboy 499 Super Chat, thank you. Since Iconic made an Alpha and World Warrior variant, can we assume future cabs will have variants, i.e. Smash TV variant or Robotron variant?
That's a good,
good question.
That's a good John question.
Yeah, if only John was in the chat right now.
Well, he's
no.
got two 80s games, three 80s games coming out that we have no idea what they are. You guys might know. I don't know. I'm assuming that maybe, I know he's always wanted to do it, that we might get that Robotron. I might be wrong, but I think there's a possibility that he might do a Smash TV and a Robotron variant. Fingers crossed.
Well, and I've wondered too, you know, of the ones that he said were coming, are any of them that sort of like same cab shape, just a different, you know, different execution? That would be a good example of how you could do that. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it depends, you know, exactly what the titles are and how custom that cabinet shape is or not.
See, it's so hard. It's so hard to get a gauge on what John's doing. Like, you guys might know, I don't know. And John's a bit of a wild card, right? Like, he might be doing bubbles just to spite everybody, because everybody knows he doesn't want to do bubbles.
He literally could do that. I wouldn't be surprised if I get a pitch deck for bubbles. Like it's coming.
Oh, now I get to ask
So
you that
Kevin,
question.
let me
if
tell
I'm
you. No, listen, Kevin. This is the best title. Let me tell you why. It's all right.
I got to ask you this question now. I wanted to ask you when I was trying to get you to come on my show, and if it's not appropriate, you can tell me. But do you guys cover much AtGames? Talk about AtGames stuff here?
Well, we talked about it recently, as in, is that something Kevin should look into from a business perspective? And that was an
$3,000 cab. Yeah,
that was an interesting discussion. Yeah, I'm curious to hear your take on that, Mike.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's the miracle thing about this is AtGames announced stuff way too early. They announced products with full presentation decks that sometimes never come out. So I thought it was a little weird that they said, you know, this is something that could possibly be coming in the future. They can give a date on it. But like $3,000, what kind of market will that elicit? Is that a home buyer market? Is there a mass market at $3,000, or are they going for like niche collecting? And like, I'm just fascinated with it. And if you're a buyer and someone's pitching you a $3,000 product, how do you take that? Like, how do you even look at that and say, well, maybe this is the way the market's shifting, or is it just like, that's $3,000? No one's going to buy this.
I think. So if I was looking at it, I would look at similar items in a similar price range, right? If they've already got the models out that they have, first off, I'd want to see, is there enough upgrade to make it worth $3,000 compared to what it, and maybe for the guys like, oh dude, I'll go through the specs right now, it's absolutely worth it. Like, okay, Bubba, calm down. Like, I'm just asking the question. So maybe from that standpoint. But then Wonderland came out. And now I'm
Yeah.
looking at it and it's like, okay, $3,000 if it was that against a Stern, and maybe there's just something really, really, really incredible about this $3,000 pinball machine. Maybe. It doesn't sound, it's not a mass market price. I think one of the things that, like Jerry behind the scenes at Wonderland, he is very brilliant at knowing like where the sweet spot is on a price point for a machine. I mean, like when I at some point needed to say like, hey man, I think this will be okay at 1,100 instead of 1,000. He's like, no, it's $9.99. Like $9.99 is the perfect point. I'm like, I know I can sell more at $9.99, but I'm pretty sure I can sell almost just the same at 1,100 when the next one up is $6,000. Like I think we're gonna be okay here. I think when you talk about 3,000, you're not too shy on a Stern now because they have some in the $5,000 range. You're also now you're in the range of like a used full size pinball machine.
Yep.
That you could get. My problem, I'm not a believer in products that are that expensive that you don't own the titles that are on it. So like other parallels would be like Steam, right?
Yeah.
I hate any time I've bought a couple here and there, but I hate the idea of like getting a game on Steam. It's like, oh, it's only $20. I'm like, it could fucking evaporate overnight and I don't have my game anymore. Like I want the disc, I want the chip, I want to physically know that if the internet goes out tomorrow, I can play my game. And I've heard enough sort of back and forth on either people having login issues or, like they got locked out or whatever the case might be, and now they don't have their games. I'm like, okay, if you're talking like a $50 video game on your computer, that's fine if it didn't work Saturday but it worked on Sunday. If I have a $3,000 pinball machine, like that's a whole nother story. That's like, I'm furious if that thing ever doesn't work. So that's the hard sell to me is you're still selling a rental product, but the hardware for the rental product is now astronomical. I would be a hard pass on it. I think maybe in the $1,000 range, $800 range, there's a space for it. Not everyone wants to maintain a mechanical pinball machine, and some people, they're probably saying like, I've played them. They feel cool. Like it's not terrible. It's not the real thing, but it passes. And for some people that's fine. 3,000's a miss though.
Is there an argument to be made in your world, Kevin, though, and I'm just playing devil's advocate. I don't see it personally, but sell fewer at a higher margin. So no, they won't sell as many, but maybe because the margin is significantly higher, and I don't know that it is, but let's pretend that it is. It could still be worth considering, or is that not even really? It's just not there.
So if AtGames was like, hey, you only got to buy 50 at a time, like we could dip our toe in at 50 at a time. The problem is the factory. I'm sure it's the same factories make AtGames that make everything else. I don't know that for sure. I just assume it. MOQ's 3,000. That's the number that the factories have come out and said like this is how much. Like this is where we can be profitable, and this is where the other companies can be profitable, and that's sort of where it's at. I would not be bullish on being able to sell 3,000 AtGames at $3,000 in a year. I'm optimistic. I'm not that optimistic.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Like we need more details on it because all they really talked about was the improved hardware and specs. But like if this is going to be $3,000, then all of a sudden instead of I think it's like a 32-inch screen in their current pinball, the 4K pinball, all of a sudden you're jumping that up to like a 40-inch screen, and there's going to be a bigger reason to buy it. This becomes a different product. Then this becomes something that people would buy to compete against like these big companies that sell like those $8,000 custom V pins. And if they could do that, then that's a great idea. Like, but it's still $3,000. So I don't know how much of a mass market that gets into.
And this is just my ignorance, so I'm sure I'll piss somebody off with this comment, but like, I don't understand how much hardware can go into pinball. I understand pinball. I don't get like how you continue to make this need more and more processing power, and that's just my ignorance that I don't understand those finer details.
Yeah. So like the reason why they needed the bigger processing power is one of the drawbacks from their 4K now, and it's not really on their hardware so much as just on the resource hog and the way that Zen Studios ports to the 4KP. They can't achieve 4K resolution at 60 frames per second with Zen Studios currently. So they're looking for a better option. Like their own stuff that's designed for it, they've got 4K 60, but they want to go even more, right? Like most people who play digital pinball are expecting like 4K and then 60, more than 60 frames per second to play. So
But like, what I don't get is, so like, I'm primarily a console gamer, and I've said that
Yeah.
before. I'm primarily a console gamer. So like, as the consoles get more and more developed, there's more immersion, there's different types of fog, there's ray tracing, like there's all these things that make the game come closer and closer to real life. And I think my critique is, like, you're bringing it closer and closer to a ball going up a ramp and then bouncing off of it.
Oh,
Like,
it's
I just
it's
don't
more
understand.
detailed than that. it's a little bit more detailed
to
than
me,
that.
but I guess for from a buying perspective,
Yeah.
I don't know, like, is a $3,000 machine that much better than a $1,000 machine? Is it like you really feel like that ball's real $2,000 more? I think that's the part that kind of would get stuck for me. If you purchase the games and the games stayed on the machine and you didn't need to keep Wi-Fi on, I could turn the machine off, unplug the machine, move it to my house, plug it back in. All my games were on, no matter what happens. Like, once I bought those games physically like were my possession, and they never went away. Then I might be a little bit more open to it. But it doesn't sound like it's locked down to that level yet. So that would be like the hard stop for me, is it's just $3,000 for essentially rental gear doesn't pass my sniff test.
That's fair.
Yeah. I think when you had us on, Mike, and Danny actually brought this up. I had the same thought. He brought it up first. I thought it made a lot of sense. When you are close to a physical pin, now that Wonderland is doing stuff at the price point they are, I feel like that's more of the concern necessarily than is $3,000 going to get you enough value. I feel like it's now more of a conversation of, do I want to have something mechanical that I can sort of touch and feel and get the physics of it and everything else, versus that virtual scenario, no matter how good it is, and not to mention the point that Kevin just made about, well, I maybe don't even completely own the stuff, whereas a physical one, it's physical, it's right there, if anything's not working right, you can kind of maybe go in and fix it, it's not going to disappear, all those tangible benefits. So that to me is maybe more the serious sort of question I would have if I was in the market. Do I want something physical? And now that you've got things that are coming out that a lot of people are pretty excited about, like, like this. So now it's sort of like, okay, you've maybe just changed the game, because you're not just saying there's one product, then we're going to move on to something else. You could potentially build a whole wall of these things if they keep going.
I am so happy for the team at Wonderland. All good people. Got a chance to meet some of them for the first time. former Arcade 1-Up people. So some people, like Jerry, was like, P-Dubs, that's the guy who always shits on my products.
Peter's getting love tonight, isn't he?
Yeah, so it was interesting meeting some of these guys who formerly worked at Arcade 1-Up, and Peter we already knew, obviously, because we met him through New Wave Toys the year before in Cleveland. But like, I'm so happy that this really came together for them. Like, there was a lot of times I was really critical of this, especially like I felt that Jerry, not to critique Jerry, but someone that's never made a pinball machine
Right.
before, a pinball layout. It felt like Jerry was way too confident. I used the term hubris several times talking about it. Like, I was like, the hubris of this man to think that he bought a Terminator 3 machine and then that was enough for him to build it. But the fact that the mad bastard actually pulled it off and made a pinball that so many people are happy with, I give him all the flowers in the world for that. So I'm so happy that they're seeing such positivity for Alice in Wonderland. People are so happy with it. I'm really happy that people are excited for this TMT pinball coming up. And again, like, these mad bastards, like, I did not expect Peter to announce they're doing like another pre-sale where they're opening this thing up for $799. Like, just kudos to them on all accounts. Like, just doing really, like, the delay actually was a huge benefit to them too, because they had this delay. The product hits, it's doing amazing. And then all of a sudden, this pre-order is coming up in the window where people still have this wicked FOMO from the Alice launch and the positivity from it. Like,
Really
just all smart, really well done. And I'm so happy for everybody involved with the Wonderland team. I think that is just a slam dunk so far. And, you know, this is a product, I know I'm talking a lot, I apologize, for a product I was like, I don't know if I want this because I already have commercial pinball. Seeing some of the reviews that were done, like Todd Tucky, Cool Toy, like, you know, real hardcore pinball people, giving this adequate praise and not being so critical of it, where the same people like Todd Tucky hates Arcade 1-Up, even though Arcade 1-Up in most cases is pretty much, outside of like the quality of the cabinet and, you know, the quality of buttons, you're getting really the same experience. So the fact that he was so positive about this pinball machine really gave me wicked FOMO for it. And now, like, I'm possibly going to have a review, Alice coming, and I'm going to be there day one at $7.99. I'm going to sign up for this, provided they actually sell to Canada, which I think they're doing. I just don't know about the shipping yet.
Yeah, I'm excited for him. I'm with you though. I almost couldn't believe they pulled it off. Something as complicated. Well, you got to design the whatever it's technically called, but the play field. He wasn't an experienced playfield designer. I mean, he's a designer, but not a pinball. That's like a whole thing, you know. That's a specialty. But he somehow managed that, got all the mechanical elements basically functioning properly. It's a pretty well organized PCB on the back of that thing where everything just kind of plugs into a central. I mean, it's pretty smart design. I'm kind of shocked. I wasn't a huge proponent of this. I was kind of like, oh, they'll do it once, it won't be great, and they'll move on. I think they got a thing here. So again, kudos, like you said. It's been an amazing journey to watch so far, and I think the next one's not going to be too far off. So that's pretty exciting. Some long nights on the streets. Yep, Josh knows all about that.
Kevin, you got to be happy. Like, you're looking at this, you're like, oh yeah, this pinball is going to put my kids through college.
Absolutely, they'll go to the finest colleges in Nebraska.
Both of them.
Both of them. That's right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know I'm coming across pretty glossy. Like, I'm legit surprised by this. I'm surprised by my excitement for it. I'm surprised by how well it's received. And I'm looking forward to the same thing happening for Iconic now. Like, this is something I said to John. You've got a situation now in the middle of May where people are going to start getting their Iconics. And I hope that it's a similar experience. I hope people are really happy with the Iconic. I think, you know, they're going to get that moment where they feel the wait is going to be worth it. From what Moat said behind the scenes to me, he said it's so much better than the KI Pro. That's a pretty great statement. The KI Pro was excellent, just a little overpriced, but it was excellent.
Yeah.
So
well, and it's a similar thing though. They've got then another one coming right on the heels of the first one. I mean, I don't know that it was necessarily planned that way, serendipity,
not at all.
whatever. But and then of course you've got the other ones that he's already hinted at for whenever later in the year. So, yeah, it seems like momentum is definitely sort of shifting back toward a lot of interesting things coming out. We haven't even really heard what's going to happen with Basic Fun outside of the couple things that they've, mentioned.
Well, they're doing Mortal Kombat. They got a Mortal Kombat Supreme coming, right?
And Qbert and Robotron, I'm pretty sure. But aside from that,
mashup. Yeah.
No.
It's a Qbert Mortal Kombat Robotron. It's a three-way mashup.
It's split 3 ways right down the it's good. It's
Cyrus just called me. It's confirmed. He told me I had to tell everybody. Jokes. It's jokes, people. Jokes.
We're just gonna set it up in the background somewhere behind you and see if anyone notices.
That's right.
Oh man,
That would be an ugly bastard.
These are rough times. Wow.
Pace, maybe we can pre-order Double Dragon in late May. I like that idea. I like that idea.
I think the smart thing now for Iconic to do is when Double Dragon comes out, hopefully like the process doesn't take so long. And Pace has given me so much shit there the last little while, blaming me for the delays with Iconic because I didn't like the side art. No one had to listen to me. I don't run the company. John could have said, "Shut up, Mike. I'm just going to release it the way it is." It's not my fault.
I think he was kidding a little bit, but I mean, maybe there's a little bit of truth. But yeah, that was a pretty good list. That was gonna give me a laugh. Oh, Bill, jeez. Oh,
man,
for you guys,
we're gonna get whacked off.
Yeah,
I'm telling you right now, B. Kirby better watch his back, man. Like he told Danny he was gonna bring him a Legends Ultimate for free, and then didn't do it. Like, jeez, this guy.
Wow, it's really easy to talk all that shit when you're hiding behind Canada's impressive military.
Canada's military? What are you talking about? Peace Corps. We'll bring you bottles of water.
Thank you, Bill. But actually, I'm glad you brought up Canada. Should we? Can we go there? Not physically, obviously. No one goes where you live, Mike.
Not to Newfoundland, though. It's terrible.
That's right. But it can get there, including FedEx, apparently. So, shipping stuff. I mean, it's been an ongoing challenge for you, Mike.
Brutal.
Kevin, do you have any insights that people in Canada might be, happy to hear in terms of just how it works, why it works the way it does, whatever? Nothing.
No, you live in fucking Canada. You know what you did wrong.
I was so
tried,
upset,
Mike. That's it.
so upset last Thursday because I had everybody under the sun because they knew I wanted to pre-order the Iconic. They were writing me. They were like, "Don't you know the Iconic pre-orders are live?" I was like, "That's great." Now it wasn't perfect because I just spent like $12,000 on a pinball machine earlier that day, but I was like, "This is great. I'm going to be able to get it." And then it was locked to the U.S. And I kept explaining to people, I can't pre-order it. And I was writing Kevin. Kevin, I hope you don't get mad at me for saying this. Kevin was like, "I'm sorry, Mike, to you and the other 2 people that would have ordered in Canada, but we didn't get the link up in time."
No. No.
And people kept asking.
I did, in fact, say that.
Yeah.
This is the thing, is it sounds like there's a lot of people asking, but it's just a few people asking a lot.
It's me under different alt
very
accounts.
Politely, and they're very polite and persistent, so you feel like, obligated to answer. You don't have to answer them. Like, we'll figure something out. But I wasn't able to get the Canadian pre-orders up again. But we'll still be able to ship to Canada. Like that hasn't changed.
Yeah.
It's just this kind of, I get it. You want to be part of the cool crowd.
Yes.
You see all your future, step states right beneath you, getting in on this early, and we haven't passed the legislation yet. You're ready to move to Alberta and get in early, but I know. It's a lot.
Man, I would move to the U.S. tomorrow because there's a lot of things we don't have that the U.S. has that I've always wanted, but it's not a possibility, unfortunately, due to my family life. But I will tell you this. I use my YouTube very selfishly to complain about Canada not getting things. And it's not because I'm really concerned about Canada so much as I'm concerned I'm not getting it, Kevin. That's the big problem.
Yeah, I'll make sure that there is one available for sale for you, Mike. Don't worry.
Thank you. Thank you.
The rest of Canada, the other 3 people will wait, but Mike will represent.
They have to commit to coming on the show. Then we'll make it available. That's the
Yeah,
that's the trade-off.
that was the deal we signed, right?
That was pretty much it. Yeah.
That's it. Yes.
Well,
Anyway.
that's been a full transparency episode for everyone.
You're not going 5 hours.
We had a
tonight?
little bit of feelings. No. We're
There
not
wasn't
gonna
enough
do
alcohol
that ever
and
again. That was
for that
terrible.
to happen. Yeah.
5 hours. That's wild, man.
And it was only our 3rd show. It was
Yeah.
it was like what are we doing? This makes
No, but
sense.
I get it. Sometimes, so you just have fun. You don't want to stop, right?
We were
Or
we
you were
at-
drunk.
No, I drank
Which one was it?
I drank an entire bottle of bourbon over the 5 hours
on
time
air.
period.
And did you sit down the entire time?
He was there the entire time. Did you get up?
I was
once?
physically here.
No,
Yeah, that's
he
wild,
was.
because-
I
Yeah.
don't think so.
Yeah, that's wild because, well, I guess after 5 hours, I did it one time, like when I was younger. I drank like a full 26er Jack Daniels to myself, and I was drinking it straight. And the whole time I was like, this is wild. I'm not even drunk. And I did it real quick. And then I stood up and everything just grayed out. And that's the last I remember of that day.
Oh, I felt great. But I would say that if you had recorded yourself and had a full 5 hour
Yeah.
view of how you were doing as you finished that bottle off, it's not a good look. By the end of it, I was like, Paul, let's clip the end of that.
We
shit.
trimmed that one down a little bit for
That-
posterity.
I don't know
There
if
was
you-
there was nothing exciting, but it was fun.
Everyone that stuck with us for all 5 hours became a true insider that night in more ways than one.
Oh yeah, we had fun.
Yeah, never again. But, well, yeah. So, Mike, thank you for coming and joining us. And you've always got stuff going on. Is there anything that you want to talk about that you have lined up for sure? I mean, it's
One thing I'm pretty excited about, actually found out about today. So next episode of Chill and Chat on Monday, I'm going to be having my friend and your friend Peter come on the show, but he's actually coming on with Eduardo, and New Wave Toys is coming on to talk about their
Nice.
situation, what's happening, everything that has transpired since the untimely passing of Shiloh. So excited to catch up with Peter and Eduardo. Had a lot of fun with them when I met them in person at Cleveland. So, and Peter's always a great conversationalist. I really like talking to him. So this is going to be fun.
awesome. Yeah, that sounds like a
Good.
good interview.
Tune
yeah.
in.
Well, cool. Yeah, we'll be doing that for sure, and all the other episodes, Super Game Room Dudes, and everything else that's always going on.
I forgot about that. I got to do that tomorrow, don't I?
It's funny how that happens right after ours every week. We try to tease something
Gotta
up
have
for
content.
you. Yeah.
I wonder what they're going to
my
talk
God.
about tomorrow night, Paul.
Oh my God. No, there's tons of stuff to talk about tonight. Everybody
Shitty cam
worries.
locks.
Shitty cam locks, but everybody worries so much about everybody's doing the same show, they're talking about the same stuff. P-Dub's a lot of times been like, oh, there's nothing to talk about, and you just explain it to them. It's like, man, people just like coming to hang out. That's the magic of this thing that we do with the live shows. Sometimes it's not even about the topics, they just want to come, have a chance to talk to you. Hopefully you engage with the audience. And a lot of times they just want to hear these people's opinions on what they think. So, I always look forward to Friday nights. I get to hang out with my buddy Carl. I get to hang out with sometimes P-Dubs if he's not taking a nap. And hopefully Ristalgia finds a way to make himself back on the show tomorrow night. So, Paul, you can tune back in and we can do what we normally do, which is give Ristalgia shit.
And tell him to leave. Yeah, as soon as he comes back.
And I'll jump in and I'll troll in the chat tomorrow night. It'll be perfect.
That'd be
It'll one
great.
big
That'd
happy
be
family.
great.
That's how we do it.
Excellent.
Before you
Excellent.
go, I know you're trying to get out of here, but I'm not going to let that happen. You talked about an us and them. I'm not familiar with this us and them stuff. Do you mean there's people that don't like me, and then the people that also don't like me? Is that the us and them? Like, how does it work? Explain this to me.
Was that me or was that Kevin?
Both of you guys. Kevin was the one who mentioned it, but tell me about this us and them. Let's go out on a high note. Something hot.
Oh,
Ooh, I think if we just watch YouTube over the next week, it'll be very clearly defined. I have a feeling that if we all stay tuned.
Oh, I don't pay attention to that stuff. I was having conversation with John there the other day because John was hot at me because I went on 19K Fox's show, and I was talking about like I thought it was great that Moat got this review unit at the time. Like I wasn't clear on where it came from, and Moat talked about he had to pay $500 for shipping, and then afterwards we found out that it was from Spreetail. You had an extra one, and you offered it to Moat and like just pay shipping, and then it ended up being this lot of money. So I was like, oh, I'm really happy because Moat has been a very good friend to John for years, and maybe felt, I'm putting words in his mouth now, that wasn't appreciated all the time. That goes back to some conversations we had. So I was trying to prop up Moat. Like, Moat's a really good guy. I'm happy that he got this. He deserves it. But, John took it personally. We had a good conversation about it, and I understood his point afterwards. I wasn't trying to upset him. But, like, it's amazing that some people are so worried about what's said about them. Like, I find that interesting. Like, I know that there's some people in the companies who don't really give a shit. Like, people are going to say stuff online. Other people, it really bothers them. So I'm always interested in the us and them mentality. Like, is there this army of people that are like, we're not with them? Because usually I'm willing to be with anybody unless they're a really, really big asshole. Like, that's the only way I won't talk to somebody.
well, and my question too is how much of that is for a show and how much of it is because you actually deeply personally feel that way? Like if you met that person in real life that you'd maintain that same posture. And I contend that it's 80% because of a personality that they've developed over time, an audience expectation, whatever you want to call it, versus that's how they actually are. But I don't know. I could be wrong. There could be a certain group of people that are just like, no, that's just how I am. That's how I feel, period. But to me, it's like, well, this is such a silly hobby. People are just living their own lives, trying to
toys.
I mean, yeah, it's like we're just like, okay, I get it. Sometimes it feels personal and whatever. Maybe sometimes it is, but at the end of the day, it's just toys,
Yeah.
So who cares? And I get it. I think sometimes it also comes down to, there's some money involved or, compensation of different forms, whether it's review units, whatever. And that gets, egos get involved and everything else. And
Oh yeah, but like it's fascinating that people are so worked up about review units. Like they don't exist anywhere else out there, and then people are like, it's immediately bad if someone gets a review unit, unless it's somebody that's complaining about people getting review units and then they get one and then they are trying to say it's okay though because I do it the right way.
Well, but to your point, I think the point we made way early in the show is there's oftentimes like two sides of every story, 2 points of view, 2 understandings of something that happened. This is exactly what Moat's saying right now. He didn't necessarily know that people were out there saying like, oh, he got it this way or this way. And this, what we knew was it was perfectly legitimate and he was the right guy for the job. But other people may have assumed didn't necessarily align with that. So what do you do? And we try to be as transparent as we can on this show when we're able to. And I think we talked about it, but not everybody watches. That's fine. Not everybody knew that, that story, how it came about. And so, you fill in your own blanks. But yeah.
Kevin's already doing work for tomorrow. I'm sorry. I'll let you go now. I extended the show more than you wanted. I'm out of here.
He's just checking Canada and see if he's got any units left. Yeah, man.
No, I'm sure no, not in Canada. We definitely
sure don't.
No, I think I've tried to pour a lot of cold water on the whole review debate, like the review units and this, that, and the third. My position on it as the person who is usually shipping out the review units now is, guess what? Everybody who has a YouTube channel wants free review units. There's no one that I could talk to except for Paul because it's unfortunately for him, his brand, that he can't accept it.
That's right.
But just about everybody at some point would be happy for a review unit if they do reviews. One, they're cool and two, it's content for the channels that people do as a hobby. So
Exactly.
like obviously everyone wants it. And I think that we could kind of destigmatize it and just be like, yeah, like I was able to get a review unit. Cool. Like I'm happy for you. Like
Yeah.
if you can get it, I think the only thing I want to see, what I want to see as someone who's in the space and wants a healthy, just sort of category and a healthy community is give an honest review. Give an honest review. I want to see people who are excited about the product, first of all. If you hate the product, don't get a review so you can tell us how much you hate it. We already know you hate it. Like that's
It doesn't help. Yeah, that doesn't help.
yeah, like
But
if you hate
there
the
are
entire
there are companies that will intentionally send it out to those people because they're like, I'm going to prove them wrong. And then they're like, oh, they shit all over my product. And I was like, right?
well, there's people in the space that I can't say like names because I haven't asked for permission to say names, but there are people in the space who are very critical of the 3/4 space. And I know for like said, hey, like I know like so and so is a trustworthy person. I don't agree with everything you say. You hate everything that I make, but would you be interested in reviewing a product because I find you to be a trustworthy person? So like what you said, people would be like, hey, he's not a shill. He gave a review, et cetera. And to these people's credit, they're like, I don't like the product. Like it wouldn't be worth your while to send it to me. Like, thank you, but like I'll pass on the free product, right? So like there's good people in the space both ways. But I think if you want to do reviews, like be someone who enjoys the product, who gets excited about it, and do a good review. Do a good, honest review. Put in the work. Like I've been singing Moat's praise. That guy put in work on that unit. I mean, you knew that thing intimately, inside, outside, every screw, like every connection. You if you are not sure if on the build quality or what the product is because you've never seen one, if you go to Moat's channel right now, there are adequate videos on there that you can make an informed buying decision and you can say, I know exactly what it is that I'm buying based on this.
Yeah, but you're underselling the value of Moat having that cab because there's more than what Moat has put out like 700 videos on the Iconic already, which is great. But here's where the value comes because a lot of times they'll send products out to YouTubers and it's one video and done. With Moat does all these fighting game championship tournaments and other things like that. You're going to get continued coverage from it. That product isn't a one and done, and it's not just lead up to the review. There's also extended coverage that you're going to get out of it as well, which is why me personally, I was like, if you're going to do somebody from this community, Moat's the perfect person to do it. I completely agree. I said so on my show.
Well, that's the reason I reached out to Moat. So like the way he got that was I was getting I'm like because I love 2 units, I only need 1. And so it was I sort of asked around. I asked multiple people like who does everybody respect, right? Who does everybody respect that if he talked about a product that you'd be like, yeah, like that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. And like across the board, it was like Moat.
Oh yeah,
Moat. Like everyone was saying Moat. It was like, cool, Moat. Like, what's up, dude? Like, are you interested in this? That thing was expensive to ship, though. I mean,
that's wild. I felt so bad for him, but like, kudos to him for being willing to do that because a lot of other people would be like, no, I'm not paying $500 to get that shipped to me. Well, but I mean, Kevin, you're selling yourself short too. Stop telling people they don't need 2. You could be selling 2 to everybody. You got to stop telling people. No, you don't need 2. You're screwing yourself here. Come on.
Come on. You absolutely do not need 2 of these guys. Come on, let's be responsible.
Why start now?
Yeah, no, we didn't get
This whole category, there's not an ounce of responsibility in anyone's homes at this
No,
point.
it's grown men with like, $17,000 worth
Yeah.
of home arcade
Right.
products. There's
Of
no
most-
responsibility here.
Mostly hollow wooden boxes, and I put
Yeah.
wooden in quotes. So, yeah.
So how many
Also-
Pac-Man caps do you have? I have 9. That's fine.
It's fine. They're all different. It's a different pack. This one's neon, like totally different gameplay. It's okay. When I see like when I see guys like the arcades in the background, I'll like do like a quick tally, and then I'll look over at my Warhammer, and I'm like, I still got you beat. I can't judge anybody.
You'll have us all beat for a long time, honestly. Although you're getting up there, Mike, with your pinballs. You're,
Yeah.
Yeah,
not cheap.
that kind of got out of hand, didn't it?
yeah, I mean, hey, I mean, more power to you. It's, if you can do it, you can do it.
It's not like I don't think I'll ever be a pinball guy because I can't. Like I can talk about like new pinball coming out and I'm excited for it. And I can like talk about pinball pickups, but I can't cover pinball because I live on this island where there's no pinball, right? So that's not something I'll ever cover more intensively other than like a little bit of light news about new products coming out. It's just I don't have access to it. So like if I didn't physically buy a machine, really there's like no way to play pinball here. There's very limited ability.
So it sounds like you need to start a company where you figure out how to deliver them by dog sled. And you could start like a pinball dog sled company.
Oh, don't kid
get them around.
Don't kid yourself, Kevin. There's a little strip mall just up from me that has this amazing like cheap pizza for lunch, and it's great. But they had this big space that was a former bar that basically closed down. And like I was seriously talking to my wife about it. There's government grants available through Canada for new enterprise, and I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna open up like a pinball place. And then like I did my business plan, and I was like, I'm gonna be broke in like 8 months, so I can't do it.
And as soon as you drop like $10 million on it, people will be like, but he didn't get Cubert. And then you'll be like, everything I just did, just did all this for you, and you just wanted Cubert.
I do. That's another. I'm going to keep you here longer. I can't help myself. But I will ask you that from like a company perspective, talking to people. Like one of the things that really caught me off guard was AtGames. It was about 2 years ago. They were doing one of their events, which they felt like it was giving back to the community, which was, I think it was like their second or third National Owners Day. And the sales like weren't as good as they used to be, obviously, with changing prices. There wasn't a lot of excitement around it. So we talked about there's not as much to be excited here. And Nostalgia, who was still pretty close to a lot of AtGames employees at the time, came out and he said, you guys are being, what's the term? Begins with an E. You're being
Entitled?
Entitled, yes. He said, all these fans are entitled. They just did this for you and you don't appreciate it. So that's what I'm wondering sometimes. Like when these companies tune into the YouTubers or tune into like the Facebook pages, do they feel that like the fan base is too entitled sometimes, or like we don't appreciate enough what they do?
Well, I think so. I want to turn that back around. And how often is there a product that comes out specifically for the community, right?
Yeah.
So, but like
Dragon's
iconic,
Lair.
yeah, iconic arcades, like these are a community product. The community obviously like super excited at the beginning, spent an entire year bashing it because it wasn't ready in time, and is now super excited about it. And we sold out like the remaining pre-orders in like 48 hours, right?
Yeah.
So like it's a roller coaster of emotion. But I think if you really do something for the community supports it. I think where there is a disconnect is how big the community is. And when I say, I mean like how many people in the community are actively out buying new machines. In our chat, it's a high percentage, right? In our chat, like if we've got 100 people, 75 of them would drop money on a machine, in the next 6 months if it was a good machine. But that huge active community is like 3% of
Yeah.
like the basic fun, for instance, or the arcade one-up mass market thing. So I think there's points where it's just sort of like, yeah, like, okay, we get it. The community's not going to like be salivating over Sonic. But a lot of, you know what? I bet you a lot of people in the chat are actually going to buy it. Like, because there's going to be like the quiet people who are like, dude, why are you shitting on Sonic? Like, that shit was fun and I enjoyed it. Like, but they're not going to get in the chat and be like, screw you, man. Like, Sonic was the best game ever. They're like, whatever. I guess you guys just don't like Sonic, but it's fun and I'm going to play it. So, I think.
Tell me after they play it with
the
the joystick how they feel.
Yeah. So when you say that 3% though, is there hard math behind that, or is that an assumption? Like I've always wondered about that because I've heard that before from a lot of places. Like I'll hear, the hardcore fan base only represents like I've heard more like 10% before, but is that a assumption or is that like core data that they have? Like how did they figure that out?
So if let's take like 1 year. If I said like, in a year, Arcade 1-Up could sell over 100,000 units. If the top performing units in there are Class of 81, Pac-Man, maybe your Mortal Kombat, and like, the other 3 or 4 titles that everybody has seen all the time. Now, granted, everybody in the community probably has purchased one of those titles. But the people who are in the community probably didn't buy those titles in the past maybe 2 years, right? So like those were probably already purchased at one point, kind of deal.
Yeah.
So I think that's where it's also like where are they being purchased? You can kind of see like they're going in the stores, they're in the Walmarts and stuff like that. So I think. They're the hardcore community, I think, which is what you're really referring to, which is the people who are like tuning into the show and stuff like that, the shows. I think that's like a very small number. You can also look like if you watch your show, our show, you could like watch Rex, or you can watch a couple of the different people, and like if you just watch the chat, it's the same people, right?
Yeah, a lot of times.
It's Bill Kirby and 98 of his closest friends tuning into every single show.
They're only B Kirby's 98 closest friends because he bought everybody memberships because he's like the nicest guy in the world.
That's
But
right.
it is coming
and then
from
we
a
have to
pool
figure
of,
out
like,
what to do with the memberships.
That's a whole separate conversation. But you're right. It's like the same 300 people divided by. Some of them go to these 5 channels, some go to these 6 or 8, whatever. But it's basically the same general pool, and those are the really active ones. But you also look at like, you've got a Facebook group that's 25,000 people. You got another one that's 21,000 people. You've got a Reddit community that's 55,000 plus. They don't even accurately track it anymore. Who are raise my hand, self-identified. I'm part of this community. People that are interested enough to go to one of these places and have some kind of involvement or register or whatever. So to me, it's almost like you've got a couple levels of fan base. You've got really hardcore active, but you've also got a certain group that are maybe not as hardcore, but you get them the right product, and they're gonna be out there like, oh yeah, sign me up for that one. Maybe not that one, but that one I want. So it's kind of, and then you've got all the other, everybody else and mom and pop at their Costco and whatever, pushing their shopping cart and, oh yeah, maybe at Christmas we'll get that for the kid, whatever. But that's a different group. So I still think there's like that other tier of fan base that could easily be accommodated with some of these products if it was of reasonable, we'll call it attractiveness to this group.
I think that's fair, 100%.
And I think they're kind of coming into this over the past couple years and just sort of being like outside looking in and then, getting ingratiated with the group. It really wasn't that like a super healthy relationship. Like if you basically had Arcade 1-Up and, we'll call the community, everybody in the community, and they're really like, there was a dialogue at one point, and then there was no longer a dialogue, and then there was the continuous, hey, it's a new Pac-Man. Hey, it's a new Pac-Man. Hey, it's a new Pac-Man. Hey, we're doing it. And then then there was there was also like when I looked through the catalog, just like a continuous like reskinning of like the same thing over and over again. But now it's this one, and now it's X-Men '97. Well, isn't that just Marvel versus Capcom? Like, no, it's X-Men '97. And it's just like, okay, well, if as the community, you're just like, okay, yeah, it's it's the same. To paraphrase a good friend of mine, it's the same shitty arcades again. Like eventually the community's not going to be excited about your product.
Right.
I think, to give credit where credit is due, I think, you had John out here who was kind of saying like, oh, there is, it's not going to be 10,000 unit runs. It's not 15,000 unit runs. But if you are doing a handful of high quality games, slightly deeper cuts, but better features, better quality, better build, like there is a market for that. And so I think that people are watching, okay, well, how's the fan base respond to that? And it's like, oh, they're excited. Oh, now they hate him. Oh, they're going to spend 10 months crucifying the man because it didn't work out right off the bat. And now everyone's excited again. So I think it's going to really come out. We want to see how do the dollars look? We've seen all the chatter. We've heard the drama. We've sold through the pre-order on the first few containers that are coming in. And now it's going to be like, all right, look, we know how many we brought in. How long does it take to sell them? Does that market seem sustainable? We know that there's some more titles coming. We know Double Dragon's around the corner. How's that received? Like, how does that perform on the pre-order? Does that do better on the pre-order than Street Fighter did? Are people more excited about this one, et cetera? And then I think if Iconic proves, hey guys, like there is, it's not the 10,000, it's not the 15,000, it's not 15 titles. But if you come out with 1 or 2 titles a year, a little more robust build quality, a little bit nicer controls, like hit the details just right, don't skimp on anything. If he shows there's a market for it, then I think other people will be interested in it. But I think there's kind of like a wait and see attitude behind it, if that makes sense.
You also came in at a very dark time in home arcade. It's been a bit of a down period for the last couple of years. And some of that, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but, some of that comes from the fact you mentioned about the reskins. I think the reskins were a necessity. I think the Arcade 1UP, from everything that we're seeing online, we're having some serious cash flow issues. I don't think they had the money for research and development. I don't think they were looking to do new product. At the time, I think they were just treading water, trying to stay alive by releasing what they had without, putting a bunch of money out there. And it sucks.
Yeah, that was rough.
I think the way I look at it is, and I'm not speaking specifically to any financial thing, but as a company, you make choices, and those choices have consequences. And they could be for your detriment or for your benefit. If you make enough bad decisions, your choices become more and more limited. So, you basically are choosing between a bad outcome or a slightly less bad outcome. And then if you already have a history of making bad decisions, when you're faced with kind of crappier decisions down the road and you still don't make the least crappy decision, there comes a point where it's just like, what are you going to do here? You know what I mean? I think at some point, it was kind of the running joke, but it's like you can really just run on Pac-Man at this point. Like you could do a sustainable business just running on Pac-Man at some point. But there's a lot of other factors behind the scenes, and I think that they kind of lost the ability to make decisions probably in the past year.
Oh, they made tons of bad decisions. They had me as like the face of their company show at one point, like just horrible company decisions.
I mean, I think they were going to use Danny as like the insider.
There was rumors behind the scene. John D was telling me, they're building him up. They're not going to. No, he wasn't telling me. He was telling somebody else. They're building him up. They're not going to go with a Canadian. Danny's the future or something like that. It was all wild. Like so much weird stuff going on, right?
Well, you've never seen Danny and John in the same room, so I would posit.
If I was John,
Quartercade is John D.
No, I wouldn't say that. If I was John and I was in the
Confirmed.
same room as Danny, John, I would hide in the closet and wait till he goes away because he will be all over you. He will not leave you alone.
Love you, Danny. Glad you're in the chat, bud. Good to see you.
Oh man. Hey, the man's determined to make a great show. I give him props for that.
He did an excellent job this past week when he had
did.
Wonderland on. That was a really good interview. Props where props are due. I know a lot of people, some of the people in your chat like to give Danny shit about stuff, but unfairly. I mean, like these are the same people. They're like, Danny's a scammer with his GoFundMe because Danny put up a GoFundMe, which anybody can do. And he already had the pinball bot. He didn't use the funds to pay for the pinball. The same fucking people were all like, we got to support Glenn. Glenn did a GoFundMe when his dog got sick. Even though, and this is not to discredit Glenn, Glenn makes much more than Danny's household income is, probably 3-4 times more. And he had a much larger collection he could have sold, but no one says boo about that. But Cornercade's a scammer. Like the hypocrisy and the double standards and the rules for me, but not for thee in this community just run wild sometimes. It's funny.
Yeah, if you've been around long enough, you've definitely seen that. And that is the funny thing. Like someone mentioned to me about like, Mike gives Danny such a hard time, and it's kind of like, yeah, but you know where that's coming from. It's not it's a tongue in cheek. It's the same way I give nostalgia crap, and I actually really like it's
Yes.
it's the same thing. Like, and because Danny's such a character, you almost can't do it.
Well,
Cannot
I was texting him on the side, like all seriousness. Danny was the first channel I subscribed to. Of all the home arcades, like
You have
Danny,
terrible
Danny was
terrible taste, Kevin. Terrible.
No, I'm an absolute idiot. You can see why it took me so long to get. I had to link up with Paul to even understand what I was talking about. Because I started with Danny, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be a great business." I was so thrilled. But like you said, credit where credit's due. Dude hustles. Like,
yeah.
At the end of the day, these are shows. These are YouTube shows, whether or not this is everybody's full personality or a product that they're selling. Like, everyone does their YouTube show differently. I'm not here to judge. Some people, they're kind of doing a skit. That's not a shot at people who do skits. I'm just saying, like, some people come on, they write out their script, they do a skit, they've got a character, they've got a shtick, they do their thing, and they might be a completely different guy off camera, and you would never know it. So just watch a show if you enjoy a show, check it out, support it if you think they're doing a good job, and, maybe we don't have to give each other a morality point test to determine if we could talk about video games together.
Toys. Fucking toys.
We're talking about toys here, fellas.
And who hasn't done stuff in their past that they regret? I mean, my gosh, we've all lived lives. Like we've all done stuff. It's not all public, but
I've killed a man. No one's ever found out about it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Just one?
He's not said anything. I mean, here, Paul. I'll give you. Just so I don't come off as holier than thou. I give you guys all the crap in the world about the drag and drop it. Right? About I've got this multi-arcade, and it's got a ton of in Warhammer, if you have a 3D printer, you can also drag and drop it. And I do that too, but just in my hobby, okay? So I'm not here to judge anybody. I just want you to buy the games that I sell because that's my job. And I've got bills and shit. And my kids want stuff. So buy what I'm selling. But
assholes, buy the
same
games. Are
thing
you trying to stop
do
Kevin's
in
kid from going to college?
he's gonna have to start a GoFundMe for Pete's sake. Jeez. What?
I stubbed my toe. I'm starting a GoFundMe. I don't think I could raise $1 on a GoFundMe. Actually, that's not true. I know Bill Kirby would jump in.
Of course he would.
He would.
There would be nobody in my GoFundMe. Josh Dendy would send me negative $10 just to get a cut of it, and Bill would be my only contributor. I just know it.
all kidding aside, before I do go, I do want to bring attention to one person in the community, which actually a GoFundMe for has been a wonderful thing. We play golf with this guy by the name of Steve Sale. Like
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys might have seen Steve in a bunch of chats, stuff like that. Steve had cancer, which ended up like ravaging like his teeth. Like he ended up losing all his teeth. Really affected his confidence because he doesn't, talk like he used to talk. And we really developed a nice relationship with Steve during golf, and like always talked about like he wanted to get that fixed, but he didn't feel that he couldn't afford it, and he didn't feel that like he had the right to ask anybody for help through GoFundMe. And we were like, no, screw that. You're exactly who GoFundMe's for. We should support you. And man, the community came together and raised over like $10,000 for the guy to go towards his surgery. So, like anybody who wants to talk about this community and say it's terrible or it's just bad people, there's lots of good people out there that put this money together for this guy that's going to absolutely change his life, give him his confidence back, allow him to go out in public again. So, like, as much as we all want to shit on GoFundMe, that it's a negative thing or something like that, it and this community has done some real good with it. So that's a positive thing.
Yeah,
That's
there
really
have been-
cool. I remember when you first like brought that up, and seeing all that. That's awesome that you guys were able to raise that much.
And there have been other charity streams too. Moat had a good one going.
Yep,
not that
Moat
long ago
does
for
awesome
Children's
stuff for the-
Hospital. Yeah, lots of good folks out there doing using their platform to do stuff like that, which is
Yeah,
awesome.
and I'm going to also use this opportunity to do what Kevin refuses to do. I've got this space behind me, so if there are any companies out there that want to be advertised in my background of my videos, feel free to reach out to me, man. I'm not a hard guy to find. I can be bot. We can work something out,
look at
and
the-
your
look at
product can be featured behind me going forward.
Look at all that
Wow.
space right there.
Look at this real estate here. You could have Wonderland Amusements. You could have Iconic Arcade, Basic Fun. Who knows what could be behind me? It all depends how much you're willing to pay.
A fourth pinball could be Mike's if only you will
Like,
support him.
Mike-
These
Mikey
YouTubers
Officially.
aren't thinking like they'll have websites and monetize their websites, but you're not going to monetize your space. Come on, guys. There's money to be made.
Yeah, yeah.
That should upset some people. That's a good note to go out.
Oh, perfect. We'll just clip that and we'll put that. It's gonna be a great little YouTube short.
Oh,
for
I
sure
also
after
got to pay Kevin back. Here, Kevin, you can get the screen on that. So
Oh,
now we're
yeah,
even.
yeah, dude.
this. That was a pretty rough screen grab. Let's be honest. That was even I was like, ooh, that I hope he's not watching tonight. That was hard.
Sometimes I'm in a really good mood. I have a ton of energy and my nose itches. Leave me alone. Stop with the questions. Gosh, just watch
Sometimes-
the show. Don't ask how it's made. Just watch the damn show.
You don't want to
Yeah.
know how the sausage is made, folks.
Nope.
No, you surely.
All right,
don't.
okay, I'll let you guys go now. I've wasted enough of your time.
Well, thanks for jumping in with us. If you haven't checked out Mike's show and no one else is live, check him out. It's a good time. Do the like, comment, subscribe. I don't know what else you do.
Well, hey, and here's the
Let's
funny
support all
thing.
the channels.
Mike, I mentioned this
Yeah.
earlier. Maybe you can help me out with this math. So we have more views on any given show by probably double our subscriber base, which always surprises me. It's like either there's a lot of people watching and not subscribed, or people are watching more than once or something. I don't know how
Yeah,
that
I think
math
that's what it
works.
is.
I have no idea how YouTube works. No clue at all. I don't pay attention to it. I don't pay attention to the trends. I have no idea how it works. Like if I make a video and I get X amount of views, like I don't know if that's good, not good. I get excited when I'm doing good on likes. That's usually a positive thing. So
Yeah,
if you're getting like a lot of likes, that's good. But I have no idea how views work. Like there's some people that like it's very questionable, right? Like if they have like 150,000 subscribers and they're getting 50 views on their videos, you could say like, oh, those scumbags bought views, but it might be a million different things. It might be they had a hot video and then they don't cover the same topic, so they lost their fan base. They might be getting buried in the algorithm. I don't know what the answer is.
I don't know how that works either.
I don't give a shit what anybody else does with their channel. I'm just worried about my channel and how much money YouTube gives me at the end of the month.
Well, I'm always grateful for people that watch. I'm just confused by the numbers. It's like, how does that work that we have so many more people watching, but like, you know, our subscriber, you know, it's like tiny, which is fine, but it's like, as long as people are watching, that's cool.
I've always been super amped about how many people we have live at any given time.
Yeah, that's fun to
like
watch.
they jumped in like in the chat, because it's like, we're a tiny channel. Like, we're not even a blip on the radar. But we'll have, like, at any given point, we'll have 100 people in here just chopping it up, having a good time. It's just like, dude, that's crazy. There's channels with 50,000 people that they can have 60 people watching or 40 people watching.
But Kevin, like, you do have a little bit of an edge that other people don't have, because you can say, hey, we're going to do a discount on $3.99 on the Street Fighter tonight, which is an advantage to your show that other people can't.
But
so
nobody knows about it until he does it, though. Like, we don't advertise.
Then you're going to come back next week because you're like, what's he going to sell next week, too? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so you
do
have an advantage of what you're doing. That's not a bad, oh my God, look, I got froth in my mouth. That's
so excited about the discounts.
So excited, Kevin. Give me a good deal.
I should have thrown you a towel. I'm sorry.
Well, that's getting clipped. But, like, you know what I mean? So, like, I do got to throw that in there. That's one of the benefits of what you have. But I will go back and say there seems to be some kind of anomaly about Home Arcade, because I've been doing this a really long time, and I've got friends that are huge channels. They'll go live. They don't do the numbers that some people in Home Arcade do. It's an absolute anomaly. We're talking channels with 110,000 subscribers. They do a live, and they got like 80 people watching. And then, like, your channel goes live. You got 120 people watching. How does that make sense? But it's this weird anomaly with Home Arcade where people love these live streams. They love hanging out, getting together with the community.
All right. Well, we'll leave on this note, Mike. We'll give you a pro tip. Since you're new to the arcade space, the home YouTube space, we splice in foot picks throughout the show. If you have to tune in live and you have to pause the show, and that's why people keep coming back. So
that's what I've been doing wrong. I've been putting other picks in.
That's right. They don't want those. They want the feet. They all come back for the feet. So
that's where the super chat money comes.
Paul is, rolling in the super chat money. But that's one thing, Mike. The just in case people don't know, I don't take any proceeds from the show.
That is true.
Because that's something that Paul and I worked out from the beginning, because my monetary investment is I want you to buy these machines. I don't know if I told you that.
Yeah.
I want you to buy the arcades. But if the community is supporting it, I feel like, Paul is the representative of the community, so the community can support Paul. If you want to support me, I sell these machines. If you buy those machines, that'll make me very happy. But that's kind of one thing we did too that I thought makes it a little bit, keeps the authenticity there. Right?
So I don't get any machines, but I get all the foot pick proceeds.
That's
so
right.
Paul, you don't want any of the machines. You only want like Soul Calibur. Like you will get a Soul Calibur, but you don't want anything else.
I have room for exactly 6 machines. So that doesn't work for me anyway.
All kidding aside, I'll also say a thank you to you. I said a thank you to Paul when he was on my show, but I do want to say this. I understand that the companies a lot of times don't feel safe with YouTubers and like trust and stuff like that. And like you look at poor Cyrus, I would imagine he's shell shocked from having to deal with the community and the negative feedback he got. So you do provide a very good service where you provide a connection between the companies and then putting that information out. That's very valuable. So I'll say, huge thank you for that. Like you guys have, I don't want to say a safe space, but they can put out information and give accurate information about their upcoming products. And you guys do a good job of relaying that. So that's a positive too. So I'll glaze you a little bit for that.
Much appreciated. Just trying to do it for the people.
And to sell caps.
and also buy... We
Mostly
saw these
that.
awesome arcades. They're fabulous. But awesome. Well, I think on that note, we all got warm, fuzzy feels. And I think it's hashtag 4 inches. Way to go, Josh. Keeping it clean for the folks.
There you go.
Oh, no.
There
You
you
don't
go.
you don't understand where that came from. Danny started that tag.
He did.
That's Danny's official hashtag is hashtag 4 inches. And I don't think the guy understood that that's not a good hashtag to have.
Maybe for him it was. We don't know. We don't judge. We all aspire to different things.
I would just be worried about bragging like that if you can't back it up. Like, that would be my concern. It's, don't want to disappoint. Don't want to disappoint. So
I may have inflated, baby.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, poor
All right.
Danny.
On that note, wonderful evening. Thank you, everyone who showed up on the show. Mike, thanks for joining in with us. I can't wait to hear what people think about it over the next
Friends now, right?
week.
We're all friends. Everything's cool.
Best friend
Best friends.
on YouTube.
That's all that matters.
All right.
Good night, everyone.
Get the fuck out of here.